Every student in Leo's class is summoned to become a hero. Standing beside Leo is Mina, his girlfriend. She is the one person who has always told him that Ryan's bullying does not decide his value. Then Ryan, the bully who made Leo's life miserable on Earth, awakens Titan Fists at B rank. The court says the skill may eventually reach S rank. One strike from Ryan cracks the stone beneath his feet. Mina awakens Power Link. Her skill can multiply another person's strength and stamina. The priests test it with Ryan, and the damaged stone circle collapses under the added force. Ryan asks Leo's girlfriend to stand beside him. Mina looks at Leo and waits to see his ability. One plain message appears above Leo's circle: Pro Eater, F rank. The court laughs. Mason assigns Leo to the poorest beast people kingdom. Mina lets go of Leo's hand, crosses the hall, and stands beside Ryan. Leo's own girlfriend has chosen the bully who tormented him. During Leo's transfer, a hidden description finishes loading. Every calorie consumed becomes experience points. Experience points may be assigned to stats and skills. The court believes Leo received a useless appetite. Leo sees a power with no visible ceiling. Before Leo can study anything else, the transfer gate drags him away. Ryan's laughter disappears behind him. Mina does not call his name. The light releases Leo without warning. Leo falls onto a cracked stone platform beneath a leaking roof. A broad beast guard catches him before he hits the ground again. Another guard pushes travel bread and warm broth into his hands. Their armor is patched. Their settlement is damaged. They clearly have little food. Yet nobody asks Leo's rank before feeding him. A tired human man steps through the rain. "Eat first," he says in fluent English. "Your hidden skill will answer the important questions faster than I can." Leo stares at him. The man recognizes Leo's school uniform. "My name is Theo," he says. "I was summoned from Earth too." Leo takes one bite. The bread is dry and dense. It tastes like grain, salt, and smoke. A soft tone sounds inside his mind before he can swallow the second bite. A small panel appears. Several details fill it, but one line matters. Food digested, digested. A second line confirms that experience points are available. Leo's pulse jumps. The power is real. He drinks the broth and finishes half the bread. Warmth spreads through his chest. The transfer sickness weakens. The panel shows several places where the new points can go. Leo chooses strength. Strength increased. The change is small, but it is immediate. His shoulders feel lighter. The ache in his legs fades. When he pushes himself upright, his hand closes around the iron rail beside the platform. The rail bends. Leo releases it at once. The beast guards stare at the fresh curve in the metal. One of them touches it, then looks back at the overweight student Mason had thrown away. Leo looks down at the remaining bread. One meal had not made him unbeatable. It had not erased years of fear. It had not changed the fact that Ryan began with a B-rank combat skill and the support of Mina. But the first bite had changed something permanent. The court had measured the label. It had never measured the fuel. Theo looks at the bent rail, then at the bread still in Leo's hand. "For the first time," he says, "Mason may have sent this kingdom something valuable by mistake." Before Leo can ask why another person from Earth is waiting here, Theo gives him the fastest possible explanation. Every 50 years, people from Earth are summoned as heroes. The kingdoms sort them by the rank shown during awakening. Rich kingdoms claim the strongest heroes. Poor frontier kingdoms receive whoever is left, even though they face the first monster attacks. And Earth does not move at the same speed as this world, Theo says. "You saw me disappear 2 weeks ago. I have lived here for 50 years. Leo barely has time to absorb that before the damaged platform shifts beneath them. The broad guard moves first. He braces both hands under a fallen beam and lifts. Theo calls him Gray. Gray's body hardens as he takes the weight. The cracked beam stops moving long enough for the workers below to escape. A young woman with fox ears runs across the wet stones. She checks the path into the settlement, then points everyone away from a wall about to fall. Theo calls her Luna. A shadow passes overhead. A woman with dark wings releases several burning feathers. The flames do not spread. They slice through a hanging rope and drop a damaged awning before the wind can tear it into the crowd. Her name is Sky. Last comes an old beast man with a shell across his back. He presses one hand against Leo's shoulder. The nausea from the transfer leaves Leo and settles into the old man's shaking arm instead. "That is Sage," Theo explains. "He takes burdens from other people. Do not make a habit of giving him too many." Leo watches each of them work. Nobody pauses to announce a rank. Nobody asks for applause. Their abilities appear because someone needs help. Theo leads Leo away from the platform, while Gray stays behind to repair it. The settlement is smaller than the cities Leo saw through the rich transfer gates. Its walls have been rebuilt in sections. Some homes are made from old stone, while others use fresh timber. Training posts stand beside vegetable plots. Children carry buckets past armed guards because everyone seems to have more than one job. Leo notices something else. Nobody looks surprised that their assigned hero is weak. Some residents bow. Others offer tired smiles. A few glance at the bent rail being carried behind him. None of them complain that Mason sent an F-rank skill. Theo brings Leo into a low hall near the center of the settlement. A table has already been prepared. There is stew, dark bread, roasted roots, and strips of meat. The meal is simple, but after the transfer it smells better than anything Leo remembers eating on Earth. Eat slowly, Theo says. We do not know what your body will do. Leo starts with the stew. The first spoonful sends warmth through his stomach. The next soft tone arrives before the bowl is half empty. A panel opens. It lists several changes, but Leo focuses on the large line at the center. Level increased. Not to year. His breath catches. The ache in his muscles disappears. His balance improves. The room seems sharper around the edges. He can hear rain striking different parts of the roof instead of one dull roar. Leo nearly spends every new point at once. Theo stops him with one raised hand. Power that arrives faster than experience can break the person using it. Leo looks at the bent rail in the courtyard. He leaves part of the experience points unspent. That decision is harder than it should be. For years, he had been the person who could not fight back. Now strength is sitting inside a panel, waiting for him to choose it. He keeps eating. Across the hall, Luna and Sky share a smaller bowl. Gray arrives late and takes only bread. Sage pretends he is not hungry until Sky pushes half a roasted root toward him. Leo looks back at his own full plate. The difference is impossible to miss. After the meal, Theo shows him the food room. Shelves line the walls, but most are nearly empty. Grain is measured into small sacks. Dried meat hangs in thin rows. A guard records every item removed. The next harvest is not ready, Theo says. Monster movement cut off 2 hunting routes. Mason knows that. And you still gave me that meal? This kingdom honors the heroes it receives. Even the weak ones? Theo studies him for a moment, especially the ones who arrive alone. Leo thinks of Ryan walking through a golden gate with carts of equipment. He thinks of Mina standing beside him. Then he thinks of Gray taking bread after spending the afternoon lifting stone. How much food did I just eat? Leo asks. Theo gives him an honest answer. Enough for several people. Leo closes his hand. The new strength waits beneath his skin, but the feeling is no longer exciting by itself. He does not want his power to become another reason this kingdom goes hungry. Outside, Luna and Gray are preparing packs and checking hunting tools. Leo walks toward them. Show me how you replace what I ate. Luna looks Leo up and down, then points at his school shoes. You will ruin those in 10 minutes. Her English is smoother than the guard's speech. Theo must have taught her for years. Gray gives Leo a pair of worn boots instead. They are too large, but strips of cloth make them usable. Then he hands Leo a small pack containing water, dried roots, and 1 dense field ration. Leo recognizes the size of the portion. This is more food from the reserve. It is fuel, Luna says. Bring back more than it costs. That is exactly what Leo plans to do. Theo stops him before they leave. He taps the side of Leo's panel, though only Leo can see the numbers. Do not put everything into strength. The biggest beast needs the biggest hit. The fastest way to lose a fight is to prepare for only one version of it. Leo remembers how Ryan used to swing first because everyone moved out of his way. He does not want to become the same kind of person with a better excuse. He stores most of the experience points from breakfast. Luna leads them beyond the wall. The forest begins close to the settlement. Wet branches hide narrow drops. Deep tracks cross the mud, then vanish under ferns. Leo tries to watch everything at once. Luna notices. Look for what changed, she tells him. Broken leaves, fresh dirt, birds that stopped calling. Gray kneels beside a tree and shows Leo where bark has been scraped away. He points to hair caught in the wood, then to a path wide enough for a large body. They are not teaching him how to swing a weapon. They are teaching him how to know when to swing. The first attack comes before Leo is ready. A heavy beast bursts through a wall of brush. It has no name, Leo knows. Its shoulders are higher than Gray's chest, and 2 blunt horns push broken branches aside. Luna is standing closest to its charge. Leo's first instinct is to buy more strength. Then he sees the distance. Strength will not move him there in time. He spends a small amount on agility and perception. The world does not slow. Leo simply understands the next second more clearly. He sees the beast's front foot sink. He sees Luna shift her weight toward an escape path. He sees another route that will block her landing. Leo moves. He reaches Luna and drives his shoulder into her side. They roll away together as the horns tear through the space where she stood. The beast turns faster than Leo expects. Gray meets it from the side. He does not try to stop the full charge. He strikes one front leg, twists the head, and forces the beast toward a narrow gap between 2 trees. Now, Gray says. Leo understands the opening. He does not aim for the skull. He hits behind the shoulder, where Gray exposed the body. The stored strength travels through one controlled strike. The beast crashes into the trees and falls. Leo stands over it, breathing hard. He had imagined his first monster kill would feel like revenge. Instead, he notices the torn earth, Luna's scraped hand, and Gray checking whether the animal is truly dead. Luna touches the dirt on her coat. You moved before I called. I saw the root behind you. Her ears lift slightly. Good. That one word matters more than the court's laughter. Gray begins preparing the body for transport. Leo expects the largest pieces to be taken first. Instead, Gray shows him how to save organs, hide, fat, bone, and meat. Luna gathers edible plants along the return path. Nothing is treated as an automatic prize. Everything has a use. The load becomes too heavy for the old carrying frame. Leo eats the field ration while Gray tightens the ropes. Food is dry enough to hurt his jaw, but the experience points arrive as they begin walking. Leo spends part of them on endurance. Then he lifts the heaviest side of the frame. Gray watches his footing for the first mile. After that, he lets Leo carry it without help. They return near sunset. Children run toward the gate when they see the meat. Workers bring hooks and clean tables. Sage checks the plants. Sky uses a small flame to prepare the smoking racks. No one asks how many points Leo gained. They see the food. Welcome meal had taken from a nearly empty room. This hunt fills several shelves and provides hides for repairs. Leo helps until the last piece is stored. Only then does he accept a bowl of hot broth. Luna sits beside him on the wall. You brought back more than you ate, she says. That was the plan. Plans change when something charges. Leo looks at his scraped hands. So do stats. Luna laughs once. It is the first relaxed sound he has heard from her. Theo waits below the wall with a crystal wrapped in old cloth. You wanted to know why I have been here for 50 years, he says. Now, you have earned the answer. Theo takes Leo beneath the training hall. The room below is older than the settlement above it. Cracks run through the stone, and melted weapon marks cover one wall. At the center rests a cloudy crystal held inside a metal frame. Theo places his hand against it. Light fills the room. Leo expects an explanation. Instead, the floor disappears beneath his feet. A battlefield surrounds him. He knows it is a memory, but his body still reacts to the screaming. Monsters pour across a broken plain. Some crawl, some fly, others carry armor built into their bodies. A younger Theo stands in front of a city gate. Arrows and spells rush toward him. He turns both hands, and the attacks bend. Stones curve around civilians. Fire changes direction in midair. A charging monster is thrown sideways into another group. Vector magic, the real Theo says beside Leo. I can change the direction of force. I cannot create endless force of my own. The memory moves faster. Soldiers wearing rich armor retreat through a shining gate. They take their strongest summoned heroes with them. The gate closes while frontier defenders are still outside. The monster army turns toward the weaker city. Theo tries to redirect an attack larger than the wall. His arms break under the pressure. The memory shakes. Gray's people drag Theo away while the outer district disappears beneath fire. Then the crystal goes dark. Leo is back in the underground room. His hands are clenched so tightly that his nails have cut his skin. That happened 50 years ago? In this world. You disappeared from Earth 2 weeks before our class. Theo nods. The truth settles slowly. Theo is not an older student from another generation. He is someone Leo might have passed in a hallway. Earth lost him 2 weeks ago. This world kept him for half a century. Why did you stay? Leo asks. I did not have a choice at first. Theo touches the crystal frame. One damaged section has been repaired with beast-made metal. The return passage appears only when a summoning cycle is completed. We failed. The monster wave was pushed back, but the true source survived. The gate never opened. So, you spent 50 years waiting for another class. I spent 50 years making sure the next rejected hero would not arrive alone. Theo leads Leo through the rooms connected to the chamber. One holds old books filled with English lessons. Another contains maps marked with safe routes. There are training weights made for human hands, preserved earth writing, and notes about awakening ranks. Theo did not simply wait. He prepared. Outside, Gray is replacing a cracked training post. Sky is shaping small flames around hanging targets. Sage sorts herbs for resistance practice. Luna has already marked 3 paths through the forest with colored cloth. They have been training for a hero they had never met. Leo thinks about Mason assigning him here as a joke. Mason had believed the poorest kingdom offered nothing. He was wrong. Do you still believe in heroes? Leo asks. Theo looks through the doorway at the team. I believe in people who keep working after heroes fail. That answer changes something inside Leo. Defeating Ryan would feel good. Proving Mason wrong would feel better. But neither goal is large enough to explain 50 years of preparation. Leo faces the memory crystal. I will finish the cycle. Theo says nothing. I will stop the monster apocalypse. When the return gate opens, you are going home. For the first time, Theo's calm expression breaks. His eyes close for 1 second. Then he turns back into a trainer. You have 3 days. 3 days until what? The first hero trial. Every summoned student will be measured again. The kingdoms use it to confirm their investments. Leo almost laughs at the word. Mason sees heroes as investments. The Beast Kingdom sees food, labor, and lives. Theo unwraps a second crystal. This one is used for measuring power. You have the fastest growth skill I've ever seen, he says. That does not mean you know how to fight. A heavy knock sounds above them. Gray is already waiting outside in the dark before sunrise. A steaming pot sits beside him. Training begins with breakfast. Gray's breakfast could have fed 3 ordinary students. The bowl is filled with thick grain, roasted meat, and chopped roots. Leo finishes it while the sun is still below the wall. The experience points begin arriving before Gray picks up the first water barrel. Leo expects weights and combat drills. Gray takes him to the well. Carry, Gray says. That single word becomes the lesson for the entire morning. Gray does not let Leo choose the easiest load. The first barrel must travel up the stairway where raw speed would spill half the water. The grain sacks must be placed without tearing them. Repair stone must reach workers who are standing beneath unstable walls. Every task punishes careless power in a different way. At midday, Leo eats beside the labor crews. His portion is larger, but he is now carrying enough material to justify it. He watches workers compare the finished wall to the pile that stood there at dawn. The experience points from lunch tempt him again. A panel offers several increases. Leo starts to choose strength, then notices Gray handing a lighter tool to an injured worker. The strongest option is not always the useful one. Leo spends only what the next job requires. Leo carries water to the kitchens. Then he moves grain into dry storage. He lifts repair stone onto carts and drags timber toward the damaged section of wall. Every job is also a training movement. Gray makes him squat before lifting. He corrects Leo's grip. He forces him to lower heavy objects slowly instead of dropping them. At first, Leo enjoys the attention he receives. A week earlier, Ryan could shove him into a wall without consequence. Now Leo can lift loads that require several workers. The feeling makes him careless. He spends another group of experience points on strength and grabs the side of a loaded cart. The wood cracks beneath his fingers. One wheel shifts. The cart begins rolling down a sloped street toward a group of workers. Leo runs after it. He reaches the back and catches the frame, but raw force is not enough. If he stops it too suddenly, the grain will crush the cart and everyone beside it. Gray's lesson returns. Control protects allies. Leo lowers his body and turns the cart a little at a time. His boots carve lines through the dirt. The wheel misses the workers, then settles against a stone barrier. Nobody is hurt. Leo stares at the cracked handhold. Gray places one heavy hand on his shoulder. Strong enough, he says. Now become safe enough. Leo stops buying visible power. He puts the next experience points into endurance and fine control. The panel offers several details, but he only needs the result. His muscles obey more smoothly. He can hold a heavy stone without shaking. He can place it exactly where the workers need it. By midday, he is no longer showing off. He is useful. The wall gains a new support line. Water reaches every recovery station. The food room receives a dry floor before rain arrives. At sunset, Leo's arms are trembling. Sage could remove the fatigue, but Gray refuses. Learn the cost, he says. Dinner is a rich stew made from the hunt. Leo eats until the shaking stops. The calories become experience points, and the points reinforce the body that performed the work. His shoulders broaden slightly. His posture changes. The improvement is visible, but it does not feel like stolen strength anymore. It feels earned twice. First through food, then through control. Gray finally sits across from him. You can catch a cart, he says. Tomorrow, Luna will teach you why an enemy will not wait inside your hands. Luna does not give Leo one large breakfast. She gives him 6 small packets. One contains dried meat. Another contains sweet grain. The others hold nuts, fruit, and pieces of dense bread. You eat too much at once, she says. Today, the food has to move with you. The route begins on the settlement roofs. Luna gives him one additional rule. If he drops a food packet, he cannot replace it. Leo understands the purpose. A real battle will not pause because his meal falls into a river. Protecting the fuel is part of using the skill. The first roof is easy. The second has loose tiles. The third forces him to choose between a short dangerous jump and a longer route that lets Luna disappear from sight. Leo chooses the short jump and nearly falls. Luna catches the back of his coat, but she does not pull him up immediately. What did you see? You getting farther ahead. That is not the route. Leo looks down. A stable beam runs beneath the edge. He could have stepped there without jumping at all. Luna lets him climb back onto the roof. Ryan taught Leo to watch the person threatening him. Luna is teaching him to watch the whole field. Luna runs ahead without warning. Leo follows, but his stronger legs make his first jump too long. He lands hard, cracks a roof tile, and nearly loses 2 food packets. Luna catches one before it falls. Strength, she says, is still trying to make every decision. She leads him over narrow bridges and down a forest trail. Colored markers appear ahead, then vanish when Luna changes the safe route with 9 paths. Her skill does not show the future as one fixed road. It reveals likely movement choices, ambush angles, and escape routes. She keeps changing the course before Leo can memorize it. During the first attempt, Leo spends experience points on agility every time he falls behind. He feels fast. Then the final obstacle appears. A rope bridge drops beneath him while 3 padded training bolts fly from hidden positions. Leo has no stored points left. He dodges the first bolt and catches the second, but the third knocks the last food packet into the stream. Luna lands beside him without breathing hard. You spent power because being behind made you angry. Leo knows she is right. Ryan used to make him feel weak on purpose. Every time Luna disappeared ahead, that old feeling pushed him to buy speed immediately. They begin again. This time, Leo eats one packet before the roof course. He keeps the new experience points stored. He watches Luna's shoulders instead of chasing her feet. He notices the small pause before she changes direction. He saves another packet for the forest. At the rope bridge, he still has a reserve. The bridge drops. The bolts fire. Leo waits until the first one is close. Then he spends one timed increase on agility. He steps across the falling rope, turns around the first bolt, catches the second, and uses it to knock the third away. The food remains inside his coat. Luna is waiting on the far bank. Leo eats the final packet while walking toward her. He controls his breathing and keeps his eyes on the trees. You can eat while running, Luna says. Is that the lesson? No. The lesson is that you did not need to become faster until the exact second speed mattered. A small panel confirms that stored experience points can remain available without being spent. Leo closes it after reading that line. Luna takes the training bolt from his hand. Your skill looks stupid in the hall, she says. Preparation makes it frightening. Leo looks back at the route. Then I need better preparation. Above them, burning feathers cut 3 targets from the sky. Sky folds her wings and points toward the magic training field. The trial measures more than muscles, she says. Tomorrow you learn not to burn all your magic energy in one mistake. Sky begins the 3rd day by placing a clay target at the far end of the field. Hit the center, she says. Leo gathers magic energy the way Theo showed him. He pushes it through his palm. The blast misses the target, strikes a metal plate behind it, and flies back toward him. Theo turns one finger. Vector magic bends the attack into the ground. If I were not here, Theo says, you would have tested your own resistance with your face. Sky shows Leo how to narrow the release. Magic energy is not useful simply because more of it leaves the body. It must travel toward a purpose. Leo tries again. The second blast hits the target, but wastes half its force around the edges. The third punches a clean hole through the center. Sage begins his part of the lesson before Leo can celebrate. Sage never increases the pressure without warning. He tells Leo what kind of burden is coming, then watches whether Leo recognizes it inside his own body. Heat makes his thoughts impatient. Poison makes the ground appear slightly tilted. Fatigue causes his hands to close a fraction too slowly. Those details matter because a panel cannot make every decision during a fight. Leo must notice the problem before he spends experience points on the answer. Sage also teaches him that resistance is not complete immunity. A stronger body can endure poison longer. It does not make poison harmless. Leo learns to respect conditions he once would have dismissed as small. The old priest places a heated stone against Leo's arm. Then he releases a weak poison into the air and adds a pressure that makes every breath feel heavy. Leo reaches for experience points. Sage taps his wrist. Feel first. Leo learns where the heat enters. He learns how the poison affects his balance. Only then does he strengthen the resistance that matters. By afternoon, the 4 trainers combine their lessons. Leo must cross moving platforms, block Sky's feathers, resist Sage's pressure, and strike a crystal target. Theo redirects every wasted attack back into the course. Leo fails the first attempt. He buys agility when he should have watched the route. He buys resistance after the poison is already fading. He reaches the final target with no reserve and no control. The crystal does not move. Leo sits in the dirt and eats a small recovery meal. Gray's control, Luna's timing, Sky's shape, Sage's awareness, Theo's efficiency. The second attempt begins. Leo moves only when the platform opens. He uses iron-like reinforcement in his arms without wasting power across his entire body. He turns sideways through Sky's first attack. He recognizes the poison pressure before it reaches his lungs. At the final target, he still has experience points stored. He spends them on magic output for one shaped release. The crystal rings. A clean line appears through its center. Nobody cheers loudly. The team simply starts preparing the evening meal. That feels better. They have seen the mistakes. They know why the success matters. The final meal is larger than the welcome feast. Thick soup restores fluid. Roasted meat provides dense calories. Sweet bread gives Leo fast energy for the morning. The panel fills with possible improvements. Leo does not buy all of them. He keeps a large reserve hidden. Luna packs more food for the road. Gray checks Leo's gloves. Sky makes him repeat the shape of the magic release. Sage makes him sleep instead of training through the night. Before dawn, Theo stops beside the gate. Mason will look for a way to make your result belong to him. Leo adjusts the food pack. He already decided I was worthless. That makes people more dangerous when they discover they were wrong. The trial grounds appear beyond the next transfer gate. Officials are already staring at the size of Leo's food pack. Ryan sees Leo before the officials reach him. For several seconds, he does not recognize the student standing beside Theo and Luna. Leo's body is stronger. His shoulders no longer fold inward. He carries himself like someone who expects to remain standing after a hit. Ryan's surprise becomes anger. What did those animals give you? Gray is not present to hear the insult. Luna is. Leo steps between them before she answers. Well, I miss. Several students laugh, but Ryan does not. He looks at Leo's arms and decides there must be a forbidden enhancement. Mina stands behind him. Her eyes move from Leo to the food pack in Luna's hand. An official opens it. Inside are dried meat, bread, fruit, and 2 sealed broths. This amount of food may alter his performance, the official says. That is what food does, Leo answers. Mason watches from a raised platform. He does not want to admit that an F-rank skill may break the rankings he supports. He makes a new rule. Eating during the hero trial will count as outside assistance. The crowd murmurs. No similar rule exists for weapons, armor, or Mina's support skill. It applies to one person. Mina notices that. Leo sees the recognition in her face. She says nothing. Ryan notices her hesitation. Do not start feeling sorry for him now. Mina lowers her voice. The rule is aimed at one skill. It is aimed at cheating. Leo hears them from several steps away. He does not need to answer. The officials are already proving the difference between their treatment. Ryan may use a weapon created by Titan fists. Mina may multiply another person's power. Rich students may wear enchanted training equipment. Only Leo is forbidden from using the ordinary act that activates his skill. Mason calls the decision fairness because the word sounds better than fear. Luna tightens her grip on the pack. Leo takes it from her and gives it to the official. Luna does not release the pack immediately. That food belongs to our kingdom. The official says it will be returned after the trial. Theo asks for the rule in writing. He knows Mason may later claim Leo broke a condition that was never announced. The request forces the official to place the decision on a public panel where every kingdom can see it. The written rule makes the bias harder to hide. Leo tells Luna to let go. He is not surrendering the advantage. He is making Mason own the restriction in front of the same crowd that will see it fail. No argument? Ryan asks. Leo steps toward the first test. The food already did its job. The strength test uses a reinforced pillar connected to a public measuring panel. The panel contains many numbers and rank comparisons, but the announcer only reads the final result. Ryan warms up beside the measuring pillar. He keeps glancing toward the confiscated pack as though the result is already settled. Mina studies Leo's breathing. She saw him finish the final meal the night before. For the first time, she considers that the visible food may not be the whole ability. Leo gives her no confirmation. Stored experience points have one advantage beyond power. Nobody else can see how much preparation remains. Ryan goes first. Titan fists cover his arms. Mina's power link is not allowed during the measurement, yet his strike still sends a crack through the pillar. The result reaches B rank. The crowd cheers. Ryan walks past Leo and lowers his voice. You should have stayed in the poor kingdom. Leo enters the circle. He thinks of Gray and the rolling cart. The goal is not to destroy the pillar. The goal is to place controlled force into the measuring core. Leo spends part of the experience points stored during the final meal. He strikes once. The pillar does not explode. It bends backward, stops, and returns to its resting position. For a moment, the crowd thinks nothing happened. Then the public panel climbs. It passes the normal F rank range. It passes the previous student record. It reaches Ryan's result and keeps moving. The measuring crystal begins to crack from the pressure held inside it. The room goes silent. Leo turns toward Mason. The king's new rule had removed the bread. It had not removed 3 days of digested preparation. The officials replaced the cracked measuring crystal before the next test. Nobody laughs at Pro Eater now. The agility course rises from the floor in moving sections. Platforms rotate. Blunted spears cross the route. The final gate changes position without warning. Ryan finishes to raw speed and force. When a platform blocks him, he breaks it. The crowd approves because the course still records a fast time. Leo begins more slowly. He remembers Luna's lesson. A fast mistake is still a mistake. He watches the moving parts. He stores his power through the first half, then spends one burst when the final gate shifts. Leo changes direction in mid-step. He passes through the opening before it closes. The new record appears. The magic output test comes last. Students release power into a crystal wall. Large explosions earn cheers, but much of that force never reaches the measuring center. Leo shapes one narrow attack. Theo's lesson guides the angle. Sky's lesson keeps the edges tight. The beam enters the center and stops inside the crystal instead of scattering across the arena. A third record appears. 3 tests. 3 different methods. Ryan can no longer call the first result a trick. He steps onto the combat stage before the officials announce the final rankings. Fight me. Mason should stop him. Instead, the king leans forward. A direct victory for Ryan would restore the old story. B rank would defeat F rank. The rich kingdom's chosen pair would remain superior. Leo enters the stage. Mina looks at him one last time. You can refuse. You did not refuse when he asked you to stand beside him. The words are not shouted. That makes them land harder. Mina activates Power Link. Light connects her to Ryan. His arms swell beneath Titan fists. The floor breaks under his first step. Leo moves before the punch arrives. Ryan's fist destroys the place where he stood. The second swing is faster. Leo blocks with both arms and slides across the stage. Pain travels to his shoulders. Ryan began with a true combat skill, and Mina multiplies the advantage. The crowd starts cheering again. Leo does not trade punches. He watches. Ryan always leans into the right side before his strongest strike. Power Link keeps giving him more force, but the added stamina makes him careless. Mina can increase what Ryan has. She cannot correct how he uses it. Leo spends stored experience points on agility for one step. Ryan misses. Leo spends points on endurance for one block. Ryan's next strike fails to move him. Then Leo waits. Ryan grows angry. He pours everything into one final Titan fist. Mina's light brightens as she tries to keep his body stable. Leo sees the exact moment Ryan's front foot loses balance. He spends one clean burst on strength. Leo turns past the fist and strikes Ryan beneath the ribs. Force lifts Ryan from the floor. Leo catches his arm before he can fly into the stone wall. Then he drives him down inside the stage instead. The impact ends the fight. Mina's link breaks. Ryan tries to rise. His arms shake. He had more starting power, a combat skill, and a perfect support partner. He still lost. Leo could hit him again. For years he imagined doing exactly that. He steps back. I am done proving it. Gray recognizes the controlled finish from the viewing area. Luna recognizes the timed burst. Sky sees the shaped magic still reinforcing Leo's body. Sage notices that Leo stopped before anger became cruelty. Theo sees every lesson working together. The final rankings appear across a large panel. The announcer does not read every number. He only says the part nobody expected. Leo holds the highest combined record. The same court that laughed now rises to offer him a place. The offers begin before Ryan leaves the stage. One kingdom promises gold. Another promises a private training tower. A third offers enchanted equipment and enough food to support Pro Eater for years. Mason speaks last. He claims that sending Leo to the Beast Kingdom was a test of hidden potential. Leo looks at the king who called him a feeding expense. No, he says. You thought I would die where nobody important had to watch. The hall goes quiet again. Mason changes tactics. He offers Leo rank, land, and a place beside the strongest heroes. Leo asks one question. Would any of you have fed me before you saw the record? Nobody answers. One representative tries to avoid the question. He says kingdoms must allocate resources according to proven value. Leo points toward Theo. That man spent 50 years preparing for someone your rankings would throw away. Another representative offers to purchase the Beast Kingdom's contract with Leo. Luna does not understand every legal word, but she understands the way they discuss him like equipment. Leo tears the contract offer in half. A rich kingdom can promise more food than the frontier owns. It cannot purchase the choice the frontier already gave him. Mina approaches while Ryan is being treated. Ryan turns his face away when he sees her move toward Leo. Mina stops at a careful distance. She looks as though she has prepared several explanations, but none changes what happened in the Awakening Hall. She chose after seeing two labels. Leo does not need to punish her. The public result has already shown what those labels missed. I did not know what your skill could do. That was the point. Leo does not insult her. He does not ask her to come back. He simply turns toward the people who arrived with him. Luna holds out the confiscated food pack. Most of it is still good, she says. Leo takes a piece of bread and eats it while walking away from the court. The gesture produces more anger than a speech. When Leo returns to the Beast Kingdom, the entire settlement is waiting. They do not have gold banners. They have tables made from repair timber, and food gathered by hunters, farmers, cooks, and children carrying bowls. The victory feast includes meat from Leo's first hunt. He eats beside Gray, Luna, Sky, Sage, and Theo. A panel appears after the final bowl. It lists several digestion improvements, but Leo selects the one that matters most. His body can now convert food faster and store energy more efficiently. The applause around him is not for a rank. It is for returning. Gray presents the bent piece of rail from the arrival platform. The curve is still there. Several children ask Leo to bend it farther. Gray refuses before Leo can answer. Control, he reminds them. The children do not understand why the adults laugh. Luna places Leo's old-school shoes beside the fire. They were ruined during the first hunt, but she kept them as proof of how unprepared he had been. Sky claims the smell is now a greater danger than any dungeon. Sage tells everyone to let Leo eat before the jokes become worse. The feast gives the victory a shape that gold could not. Every dish is connected to work the kingdom did together. After the meal, Theo places a weathered map on the table. The kingdom has protected one resource from Mason for generations, he says. Luna points to a mark beneath the mountains. A hidden dungeon, she explains. We could not clear its deepest chamber. The dungeon was hidden for two reasons. Its food and monster materials could keep the kingdom alive through a failed harvest. Its deepest guardian was also too dangerous for the current team to defeat. Leo's return changes the calculation. Theo does not offer the dungeon as payment for loyalty. He asks whether Leo will enter with the same people who trained him. Leo looks around the table. The answer is already sitting beside him. Leo looks at the empty bowls, then at the team. The first trial proved that calories could defeat a public record. The hidden dungeon will test whether they can defeat something that fights back. The hidden dungeon opens beneath a dry riverbed beyond the settlement. Luna removes 3 stones in a precise order. A section of earth sinks, revealing steps covered by old claw marks. Leo explains that the entrance was kept secret because rich kingdoms claim every valuable dungeon they discover. The Beast Kingdom survived by hiding the few resources it still controlled. Leo enters with the full team. The first chamber contains no monster. It contains a broken bridge over a deep shaft. Gray anchors a rope. Luna crosses first and marks safe handholds. Sky burns away a nest of poisonous insects without damaging the bridge. Sage absorbs the dizziness from one guard who came to open the outer gate. Theo redirects falling stones away from the rope. Leo sees the pattern. The dungeon does not need one hero who can do everything. It punishes teams that ignore one another. Deeper inside, they find edible moss and hard fruit growing near magic crystals. Sage checks both before anyone eats. The calories still become experience points, Theo explains. But dungeon food can carry a second effect. Theo eats a small piece of moss. It tastes bitter. A panel confirms a brief resistance to the cold air in the chamber. The benefit is useful, but it is not the main reward. The calories still provide the experience points that let him improve permanently. The path opens into a cavern filled with blue light. At the center hangs a bright fruit larger than Leo's fist. Magic energy moves through its skin like liquid flame. Sky stops breathing for a moment. That fruit could increase magic output, she says. A narrow stone path leads directly toward it. Luna studies the floor. There are other routes. The direct route begins collapsing before she finishes. Stone walls rise between the team members. A crystal hook catches Sky's wing. Luna jumps toward her, but another section of floor drops. Both of them are left hanging above a lower chamber. The glowing fruit begins sinking into the ceiling. Leo can reach it. One burst of agility would carry him across the direct path before it closes. The fruit may never appear again. Luna calls his name. Leo turns away from the reward. He spends the stored points on endurance and jumps down instead. Gray catches a rope around his waist. Leo swings beneath the falling floor and reaches Luna. She is holding Sky with one arm while her other hand slips across the stone. Leo locks his plated training glove around her wrist. I have you. The wall shakes. Crystal spikes begin growing from below. Theo changes the direction of the falling debris. Sky frees one wing and burns through the hook. Sage takes the pain from her injured shoulder. Gray pulls all 3 of them upward. By the time they reach stable ground, the magic fruit has disappeared behind stone. Leo looks at the sealed ceiling. He feels the loss. Luna notices. You could have taken it and left you there? Some heroes would. Leo thinks of Theo's memory crystal. Then they are why frontier cities keep dying. The dungeon is not finished with them. Luna closes her eyes and activates 9 paths. Several possible routes appear in her mind. Most end against traps. One curves through a narrow tunnel behind the collapsed chamber. The team follows it. Gray moves the heaviest stones. Sky lights the path. Sage keeps the crystal dust from poisoning their lungs. Theo redirects a stream of cutting wind. The tunnel rises behind the sealed ceiling. The magic fruit is still there. This time, the team reaches it together. Leo does not eat until Sage checks it and everyone is standing on safe ground. The first bite floods his body with heat. Experience points rise quickly. A second effect increases the movement of magic energy through his arms. A panel appears with several values. The important result is clear. His magic output has jumped. Then the cavern answers. A giant eye opens inside the wall. Crystal plates unfold around a long body. 6 limbs strike the ground. The path behind the team seals. Theo looks at the monster waking beneath the fruit tree. The crystal-eyed ravager, he says. Now we find out whether saving the team was worth more than reaching the reward first. The crystal-eyed ravager attacks before the final crystal plates finish opening. A beam of pale light cuts across the chamber. Gray steps in front of Sage. His skin hardens under mountain hide, but the beam still drives him backward. Luna points left. 3 steps. Then down. Leo follows her route. A second beam passes over his head and burns a line through the wall. The Ravager has 6 legs, but it does not move randomly. Luna watches the joints and calls the path before each charge. Gray stays close enough to remain the main target. Every time the creature turns towards Sky or Sage, he strikes its crystal jaw and pulls it back. Sky releases ember feathers toward the eyes. The Ravager closes clear plates over them. The feathers scatter. Those covers redirect magic, she says. Leo can feel the experience points from the fruit waiting inside him. He wants to buy enough power to break the armor. Theo stops that impulse with one command. Wait for the opening. Sage places his palm against Gray's back. The fatigue for mountain hide moves into Sage's shell. Gray straightens and catches another charge. The impact cracks the ground. Theo turns both hands. The Ravager's own force bends sideways. Its front legs slide. For 1 second, the protected eyes face Sky at the wrong angle. She changes her attack. Instead of firing at the covers, Sky burns the crystal dust around their hinges. The plates lock halfway closed. Now, Luna says, Leo spends the fruit's experience points on magic output and agility. He runs along the Ravager's lowered leg. A beam forms inside the exposed eye. But Leo sees the glow before it fires. He jumps, gathers magic energy into one narrow line, and drives it into the damaged hinge. The plate breaks. The Ravager throws him across the chamber. Gray catches its next leg. Luna pulls Leo behind a stone ridge. Sage takes the worst of the impact from Leo's ribs, then nearly falls from the combined burden. The team is running out of time. Theo studies the creature's next charge. I can turn it once more. Leo understands what he means. Theo's arms are already shaking. The Ravager lowers its head and rushes toward Gray. Luna marks the route. Sky burns the remaining eye covers. Sage releases the fatigue he has absorbed into the ground and keeps Gray standing. Theo redirects the charge upward. The Ravager rises just enough to expose a soft line beneath its crystal chest. Leo spends the last concentrated points from the fruit. He enters the opening that everyone created. His shaped strike punches through the exposed line and reaches the core. The Ravager freezes. Its 6 legs collapse in sequence. Silence returns to the chamber. Leo does not feel as though he defeated the boss alone. Without Luna, he would never have reached it. Without Gray, it would have killed the weaker members. Without Sky, the eyes would remain protected. Without Sage, the team would have collapsed from pain and fatigue. Without Theo, the final opening would not exist. The core glows beneath the broken crystal chest. Theo explains that a monster core can hold the pattern of an ability. Pro Eater reacts before he finishes. Leo takes the core and consumes it. It does not taste like food. It dissolves into hot energy, but the calories from the fruit and his stored meals are what let his body survive the change. A short message appears. Monster core seed formed. ... Pain does not tear through him. Instead, pressure gathers behind his left eye. The color changes. A thin crystal pattern forms around the pupil. Leo looks at the chamber. Magic energy becomes visible. He can see Sky's fire moving through her feathers. He can see the strain in Theo's arms and the fading poison inside Sage's shell. Weak lines appear in the sealed door. The ability has a simple purpose. It shows him how magic is built and where it can break. The panel names it Magic Sight. Then another sensation reaches him. Static. It is faint at first. Leo turns because he thinks water is moving behind the wall. The sound follows him. Several muffled voices seem buried beneath it. They overlap. No word is clear. One rises, then disappears before he can understand the shape. Did someone speak? Leo asks. The others listen. Nobody hears anything. Leo closes the monster eye. The static fades. He opens it again. The voices return. He assumes the sound belongs to the core or the dungeon. There is no time to investigate. A warning crystal near Theo's belt begins flashing. A different guardian has escaped from the outer tunnels. It is moving toward a village. The team runs before the dungeon door finishes opening. Luna chooses the shortest route down the mountain. Leo eats emergency rations while moving. Faster digestion turns the dense bread and meat into a steady stream of experience points. The village appears below them. One wall is already broken. The ironback stalker moves through the houses like a living shield. Thick plates cover its head, shoulders, and spine. Arrows strike the armor and turn aside. When defenders attack from behind, the plates shift to meet them. A child is trapped beneath a fallen cart near the center road. Gray reaches the cart first. He lifts it while Luna clears a path for the family. Sage presses his hand against an injured defender and pulls dark poison from the wound. Sky attacks from above. Her ember feathers force the stalker to turn, but the armor absorbs the heat. Leo opens Magic Sight. The monster's plates are not simply hard. Thin lines of magic energy run between them. Every impact travels across the entire shell instead of one point. Do not hit the armor together, Leo says. Make it move. Theo understands. He steps into the road and waits for the charge. The stalker lowers its head. Static erupts inside Leo's mind. This time, the noise is louder. Signals overlap from the stalker, and several smaller monsters fleeing the village edge. The muffled voices still make no sense, but one sharp burst reaches him before the stalker moves. It feels like attack. Right side, Leo warns. Theo changes the charge's direction. The monster crashes through an empty wall instead of the evacuation route. Its side plates spread to absorb the impact. Sky fires between them. The creature turns again. Leo spends the experience points arriving from his emergency ration. Magic Sight remains active. He pushes more energy into the monster core seed. His left eye changes completely. Crystal lines spread across part of his face. The muscles in one leg harden into a shape that matches the Ravager's movement. It is not a full transformation. It is the first monster shift. Leo crosses the road in one burst. The stalker swings its plated shoulder. Leo sees the attack through the static before the body finishes moving. He ducks beneath it and strikes one exposed line between the plates. The armor shifts toward him. That is what he wanted. Gray hits the opposite side. Theo redirects the force inward. Sky burns the newly exposed joint. The stalker's protection collapses around one front leg. Leo drives a shaped magic strike into the opening. The monster falls before it reaches the rescued family. The village is damaged, but every trapped civilian survives. Leo's monster shift ends as soon as the last calories from the emergency ration are spent. His leg returns to normal. Fatigue hits him at once. Sage offers to take it. Leo shakes his head and eats another small ration instead. The stalker's core reacts to Pro-Eater. Leo consumes it after Theo confirms the village is safe. A second monster core seed forms. This time, dark plates spread across Leo's forearm. They settle without pain, fitting over his skin like natural armor. Magic Sight shows how the plates redirect force. The new trait can become more than protection. With enough calorie experience points, it can learn to hold an impact and send it through Leo's whole stance. The static returns while the plated arm is active. Several signals fade as monsters flee into the forest. One remains. It is weaker than the rest. It is moving away from the village, but the feeling inside it is not attack. Leo follows before anyone else notices. The signal leads Leo away from the road. Luna catches up first. Theo follows at a slower pace, but Leo raises one hand and asks them to wait. The static is different here. The stalker's signal had struck like a sharp warning. This one shakes and fades. Hunger runs through it. So does fear. Leo moves between the trees with magic sight open. He finds the source beneath a fallen root. A small monster is trapped under broken wood. One leg is injured. Its teeth are visible, but its body is too weak to lunge. Dark marks pulse beneath its skin whenever the distant static grows louder. Leo lifts his plated arm. The creature presses itself deeper into the dirt. A confused thought reaches him without words. One, two, then another. Do not eat me. Leo freezes. He cannot hear the sentence clearly. The meaning reaches him as fear before language. Magic Sight confirms that the creature cannot threaten the village. Its wounds came from the stalker's charge, not from fighting beside it. Several defenders arrive behind Luna. One raises a spear. The injured creature hears the metal move. Its command marks pulse once. The body tries to rise even though the damaged leg cannot support it. The signal changes from fear to forced attack, then collapses when the distant pressure weakens. Luna sees the movement. It did not choose that. The defender with the spear is not cruel. He lost part of his home during the stalker attack. To him, waiting for certainty could mean another family dies. Leo understands the fear on both sides. That is why the decision must be based on what the creature can do now, not what its species did somewhere else. That one came with the attack. Leo steps between the spear and the roots. It is injured. It is a monster. Leo looks at the dark command marks under its skin. He remembers the overlapping voices inside the dungeon. So was the thing that gave me this arm. That argument does not convince the defenders, but Leo's position does. They lower their weapons because he saved the village. Leo removes the broken wood. The creature tries to crawl away and fails. He places a cup of water near its mouth. Then he takes a strip of dried meat from his remaining rations. For a second, Pro-Eater reacts to the food in his hand. Those calories could restore his transformation. They could become permanent strength. Leo leaves the meat beside the creature instead. The monster waits until the distance feels safe. Then it drinks. It eats in small, desperate bites. It chews slowly at first. Each time the command marks pulse, the creature freezes as though expecting its own body to betray it. Leo keeps Magic Sight open. The food provides strength, but it also gives the creature enough energy to resist standing when the distant pressure returns. The scene teaches Leo a new possibility. Food is not only his fuel. In the right hands, it can give another victim enough strength to choose. The static changes. Fear remains, but something softer appears beneath it. The feeling is not gratitude in a human sense. It is recognition. Leo spared it. The creature drags itself into the undergrowth when the leg can hold its weight. Luna watches the branches close behind it. You gave away your battle food. I can eat it home. And if it attacks someone later? Then I deal with what it does later. I am not killing it for what I imagine now. Theo arrives in time to hear that answer. He looks at the fading marks in the dirt. The sound may not be part of your core, he says. Leo closes Magic Sight. The static disappears. When he opens the monster eye, the distant signals return. Then help me learn what I am hearing. Training the monster core seeds requires more food than anything Leo has done before. The first morning begins with a full breakfast. By noon, Leo has eaten 2 recovery meals. By sunset, every stored experience point is gone. The kitchen quickly becomes part of the training field. Cooks record which meals convert quickly and which keep releasing energy over time. Sage checks whether repeated digestion is causing damage. Theo refuses to let Leo treat a larger stomach as the same thing as endless supply. Leo can eat more than before, but food still requires time to digest. His body still needs water, rest, and control. That limit keeps the trainee honest. If Leo wastes a transformation, the team must spend real ingredients replacing it. Gray trains the plated arm. He strikes it with a padded hammer while Leo holds his stance. At first, the plate stops the blow, but sends the impact into Leo's shoulder. Gray makes him adjust his feet and spine until the force spreads through his entire body. The technique becomes Iron Guard. Sky trains Magic Sight. She shapes 3 flames that look identical from the outside. Only one contains a true attack. Leo studies the flow of magic energy and identifies it before she releases the spell. Luna trains the static. She hides small captured monsters in separate parts of the forest. Leo must point toward them without seeing tracks. He learns that distance changes the volume. Groups create overlapping layers. A sudden emotional spike often appears before movement. Sage keeps the practice from destroying Leo's body. Repeated monster shift drains stored energy and produces deep fatigue. Sage can remove some of it, but he refuses to carry everything. Eat, he tells Leo. Recover with your own power first. Theo trains efficiency. Leo's early monster shift changes his eye, arm, and leg together. Theo forces him to activate only what the situation needs. Magic Sight for a hidden spell. Plated arm for 1 strike. Reinforced legs for 1 jump. Every unnecessary change wastes calories. After several days, Leo can choose individual traits. Then he begins combining them. Magic Sight shows the attack. The static warns him when it begins. Iron Guard absorbs the impact. A short burst through his legs moves him into position. The first hybrid sequence lasts only seconds. During the next attempt, Leo tries to keep every trait active longer. The mistake drains him before Gray's practice strike arrives. Iron Guard disappears, and Gray has to stop the blow himself. Leo learns that hybrid power is not valuable because more traits are visible. It is valuable when each active trait answers the same problem. He reduces the next sequence to 3 movements. Listen, move, guard. The calorie cost drops enough for him to repeat it. It still empties an entire meal. Leo eats again. The repetition is not glamorous. Bowls pile up. His jaw aches. His stomach adapts slowly. Some meals are dense pastes designed for calories, not taste. But every round produces a visible result. Magic Sight remains active longer. Iron Guard protects more of his body. Monster Shift stops appearing as an uncontrolled reaction. The static becomes useful. During one forest exercise, Leo hears a sharp signal behind him. There is no visible attacker. Luna is standing in front of him, so he almost ignores it. Then he turns. A hidden creature launches from the trees. Leo raises plated arm before its claws reach him. Gray catches the creature after the failed strike. Leo had avoided an ambush he never saw. That night, the injured monster appears beyond the firelight. Its leg has begun healing. It does not approach the settlement. It drops a strip of dark cloth or old hide near the path, then retreats. Luna inspects it. The material carries dust found only in the Forbidden Dungeon region. The monster looks back once. A warning travels through the static. Many voices. One direction. Danger. Leo cannot understand the words, but he understands the invitation. Something in the deeper dungeon is connected to what he hears. The next morning, the team packs extra food and follows the trail. The Forbidden Dungeon lies beyond the routes marked on the kingdom's public maps. The entrance is not a gate. It is a split in the mountain wide enough for Gray to pass sideways. Warm air moves from below, carrying the smell of wet stone, old fire, and unfamiliar food. Leo opens Magic Sight. The dungeon is filled with magic energy. Some of it runs to the walls like roots. The rest moves in living shapes. The static becomes crowded at once. Signals surround him from above and below. Fear overlaps with curiosity. Hunger mixes with warning. Several muffled sounds almost form words, but the meaning slips away whenever Leo tries to focus on one. Luna marks their return route. Theo warns everyone to avoid unnecessary attacks. They descend until the tunnel opens into a ruined underground settlement. Stone homes line the cavern. Cooking pits are cold, but tools remain near them. Carved pictures show monsters standing together instead of hunting one another. Sky touches one wall. This was not a nest. The answer comes from the darkness. A dozen shapes step into the open. Some have feathers. Some have plates. Others move on 4 legs but carry tools in their front claws. Their eyes are intelligent. They look at Leo's crystal eye and plated arm. The static surges. Daughter, stolen flesh, thos, human hunger. The meaning is broken, yet the accusation is clear. Leo raises both empty hands. We did not come to attack. The magical beasts do not understand the spoken words. Theo tries several old languages. None work. One tall beast points at Leo's arm, then at its own body. It makes a cutting motion and bares its teeth. It believes Leo killed monsters to wear their parts. That is not entirely wrong. Leo consumed 2 cores. He gained power from both. The difference is why he used it. Before he can show that, a younger magical beast launches from a ledge. Its claws aim for his monster eye. Leo could strike the exposed chest. Magic Sight reveals a weak point. One full hit would end the fight. He chooses Iron Guard instead. The claws scrape across his plated arm. Leo turns with the impact and throws the attacker onto an empty patch of ground. He keeps one hand against its throat, but he does not crush it. Gray blocks the other beasts without advancing. Sky keeps her feathers unlit. Luna moves between Leo and the nearest escape route. Sage watches for poison. Theo bends 2 thrown stones into the floor. The cavern holds still. Leo releases the young beast and steps back. A larger magical beast approaches. Old command scars cross its shoulders. The static around it is clearer than the rest. The word reaches Leo like a sound heard through water. The beast points toward a sealed arena beneath the settlement. Then it points at Leo's mouth, the monster cores inside him, and several chained shapes moving in the dark. Theo understands the choice before Leo does. They want to know whether every monster you defeat becomes food. The sealed door opens. Several violent signals strike the static at once. Leo looks at the team. The magical beasts are not offering friendship. They are offering one chance to prove that power has not made him a predator with better manners. The arena contains 4 dungeon monsters. Each one is bound by a dark mark around the neck or chest. The marks pulse together. Whenever they brighten, the monsters attack without protecting themselves. The old magical beast gives Leo one clear rule through gesture and broken meaning inside the static. Stop them. Do not kill them. Do not consume them. The door closes behind Leo's team. One monster charges Gray. Another spits poison towards Sky. 2 smaller creatures circle Luna and Sage. Leo opens magic sight. The command marks are connected by thin lines of magic energy. The lines disappear into the floor. Destroying the monsters would be easy. Removing the control without killing them is harder. Luna calls the first safe route. Leo follows it between 2 attacks. He uses Iron Guard to catch a claw, then turns the force into the ground. The monster falls without breaking a limb. Theo redirects the charging beast around Gray. Instead of striking a wall, it runs in a circle and loses balance. Sky burns the edge of one command mark. The monster screams, but the dark line weakens. Sage pulls poison from the air and carries the fatigue from Luna's legs when she has to change routes twice in one breath. Leo spends stored experience points on perception. Magic sight sharpens. He sees that each mark has a small knot where outside pressure enters. The monsters are not choosing the same attack. Something is pushing all 4 minds toward one direction. Leo tells Sky where to burn. He tells Theo which charge to redirect. He tells Gray where to hold without crushing. Then he moves through the center. One creature snaps at his shoulder. Leo lets the teeth close around plated arm. He uses the contact to reach the command mark beneath its jaw. His fingers close around the knot. Pro-Eater reacts. The mark is not food, but the same process that digested his monster cores recognizes its pattern. A panel names that process monster core digestion. Leo does not consume the monster. He pulls just enough energy from the mark to break the pressure. The creature collapses. Its signal changes from rage to confusion. The remaining 3 attack harder as the outside force compensates. The team repeats the process. Luna threads them between claws. Theo turns impacts aside. Sky burns only the dark knots. Sage keeps everyone conscious. Gray holds bodies without damaging them. Leo uses calories on precision instead of permanent strength. The last command mark breaks. Silence crosses the arena. 4 monsters remain alive. They do not thank Leo. They simply crawl away from the team and gather near the far wall, frightened and free from the immediate pressure. The door opens. The magical beasts enter slowly. The young attacker from before touches one of the surviving monsters. Then it looks at Leo's plated arm with less hatred. The old magical beast brings Leo to a carved stone filled with old symbols. It places one claw beside Leo's monster eye. Its next meaning reaches him more clearly. Not core. Leo points to his ear. The static? The beast touches its own head, then points toward the 4 recovering monsters. Place it is not free. The words are still incomplete, but Theo and Leo understand together. The noise is not being created by Leo's monster core seeds. He is hearing living minds. The old beast presses both claws toward one distant point beyond the mountain. Many minds. One direction. Then it jerks its own head as though an invisible chain pulled it. Something is forcing them, Leo says. The beast lowers its voice into a warning growl. It cannot name the source. It may not know the complete answer. Or it may be afraid that listening too closely will let the controller notice them. The trial ends with a meal. The magical beasts bring roasted roots, thick meat, mineral fruit, and a hot soup that makes Leo's monster core seeds react. He eats after the 4 freed monsters receive food first. The calories become experience points. The unusual ingredients strengthen the connection between his human body and the monster traits. Mercy has unlocked a resource that killing would have destroyed. The old magical beast points deeper into the settlement. It will teach Leo how to listen. It will not promise that he will like what he hears. Forbidden training begins with silence. Leo sits in the center of the ruined settlement while dozens of magical beasts move around him. The layered static fills his mind. The old beast teaches through pressure and gesture. Leo first separates distance. Quiet signals come from deeper tunnels. Loud signals move nearby. Then he separates group size. One mind has a steady shape. A pack creates overlapping waves. A frightened crowd sounds different from an attacking group. Next comes direction. Luna hides among the tunnels with several magical beasts. Leo keeps his eyes closed and points toward each movement. At first, he is wrong more often than right. After a heavy meal and several hours of practice, he can follow a signal around corners. Words remain buried. He catches pieces like run, hunger, and no. They disappear before he can answer. Leo names the ability Monster Radio. It sounds like an old radio between stations, he tells Theo. The voices are there. I cannot tune them clearly. The old beast reacts to the name with a slow nod. Movement training comes next. A feathered champion gives Leo a prepared piece of monster material and shows him how magic energy can form beneath the feet for 1 instant. Leo eats the approved material with a dense meal. The calories stabilize the new trait. He jumps. A second step forms in the air. Leo falls on the first attempt. Theo redirects the landing so he does not break the floor. On the second attempt, Leo spends less power. On the third, he creates one clean foothold. The technique becomes air step. Ancient cuisine helps each monster core seed differently. Mineral broth strengthens plated arm. Bright fruit extends magic sight. A light grain paste makes air step cheaper to activate. None of these foods replace calories. They guide where the calorie experience points are most useful. Leo begins combining the techniques. Monster radio warns him of an attack from behind. Air step carries him over it. Magic sight reveals a weak point. Iron guard lets him enter safely. The complete sequence lasts less than 10 seconds. It changes how the magical beasts look at him. He is no longer a human wearing stolen pieces. He is a fighter who learned their power without losing his choices. The old beast gives one final warning. When the distant pressure gathers, Leo must not answer it. Something far away is pushing many voices toward the same command. Leo asks what happens if the controller notices him listening. The old beast points upward. A pulse of magic energy has already escaped the forbidden dungeon. Far beyond the mountain, detection crystals in the rich kingdoms begin to glow. The rulers who claimed nobody could reach this depth now know someone has done it. A summons arrives before Leo finishes the next meal. Every hero has been ordered to gather. When Leo returns, magic sight glows in one eye, dark plates cover one arm, and airstep lets him cross the final broken bridge without touching it. The other heroes do not see control. They see a human becoming a monster. The hero gathering stops when Leo enters. His left eye carries a crystal pattern. Dark plates rest across one forearm. A faint second step of magic energy fades beneath his boot. Students who once laughed move away from him. Several reach for weapons, even though Leo has not threatened anyone. The reaction proves how quickly public status can change shape. At the first trial, the crowd wanted Leo because he broke records. Now the same people fear the abilities that made those records possible. Mason does not calm them. A frightened court is easier for him to control. Mina watches Leo instead of the monster traits. His breathing is steady. The plated arm remains lowered. He is showing more control than Ryan, whose fists are already beginning to glow. Ryan notices where she is looking. His accusation becomes louder because doubt has entered the room. Ryan steps forward. "I knew it," he says. "The Beast Kingdom corrupted you." Leo looks at Ryan's tightened fists. "My power changed because I trained. You ate monster cores." "That is true." Ryan takes the answer as permission to attack. Tightened fists cover his arms before any official gives an order. Mina reaches for him, but he is already moving. Leo opens magic sight. Ryan's first punch aims past him toward the plated arm. He wants to break the visible monster trait in front of the crowd. Leo uses air step and moves sideways. The punch hits a support pillar. Stone begins falling toward several students. A spear fighter named Kai holds one section away from the crowd. A healer named Nora pulls an injured official back. Emma moves 2 students out of the impact path. Cloud uses a steady song to keep the panicked group moving toward the correct exit. Their roles appear through action. There is no time for introductions. Ryan attacks again. The second strike is not aimed only at Leo. It is aimed at the public image Ryan believes Leo stole from him. Tightened fists hammer the floor and throw broken stone across the hall. Leo uses perception to catch Ryan's shift in balance, then magic sight to read the movement of reinforced muscles. He knows where the punch will land before Ryan finishes turning his shoulder. Leo does not answer with greater force. Iron Guard catches the fist. Leo turns the impact away from the crowd, steps behind Ryan, and locks one plated arm across his shoulders. Ryan tries to break free. Leo lowers him to the floor instead of crushing him. "Stop." Ryan drives one fist into the ground. The damaged pillar finally collapses toward both of them. Leo could move alone. He releases Ryan, uses air step, and pushes them both beyond the falling stone. Iron Guard takes the edge of the impact. Ryan lands safely. The mercy humiliates him more than defeat. Mina sees something else. Leo had enough power to punish Ryan. He used it to protect the same person who attacked him. The court guards surround the stage. Mason demands that Leo's monster traits be sealed until they can be investigated. Several heroes object. They watched Leo protect bystanders during Ryan's attack. Others agree with Mason because the monster traits frighten them. The argument divides the hall along a new line. It is no longer high rank against low rank. It is whether visible difference is enough to remove someone's freedom. Leo keeps both hands open. If he attacks the guards, Mason's accusation becomes easier to sell. If he kneels, every monster ability may be taken before the war begins. Theo moves beside him, ready to redirect the first sealing chain. Before anyone moves, a captured monster at the edge of the hall begins shaking. Dark marks spread across its neck. Monster radio becomes one solid wall of static. Every voice inside it is pushed aside by something larger. The captured monster raises its head. When it speaks, the voice does not belong to the body. The monster's back straightens. Its injured body had been curled against the floor. Now it stands with the posture of someone sitting on a distant throne. The guards raise weapons. Leo tells them not to strike. Monster radio is carrying one overwhelming signal through the creature. The pressure drowns every smaller thought beneath it. The monster looks at the rulers first. "You fed me lies," it says. The voice is calm. That makes the room more afraid. Mason demands a name. The creature smiles with another person's expression. The demon lord does not appear through a grand portal. He does not need to. He is using a living prisoner as a mouthpiece. Riser explains only what matters. For years, rich kingdoms claimed they had reached the deepest dungeons and remained strong enough to resist him. In return, their central cities were spared, while poor frontier kingdoms absorbed the worst attacks. The rulers called those attacks unavoidable losses. Riser calls them payment. Every time a frontier city fell, the rich kingdoms sent records claiming their hidden armies were still prepared for a final war. Riser accepted the lie because fear kept the kingdoms divided. The rulers protected their palaces. He harvested weaker lands without facing a united response. Leo's journey into the Forbidden Dungeon breaks both sides of the arrangement. It proves the rich kingdoms were not holding back secret strength. It also proves someone outside the agreement can reach resources Riser considered protected. The arrangement was never peace. It was scheduling. Leo reaching the Forbidden Dungeon proves that the rulers lied about their strength. It also proves that a new threat is growing outside Riser's control. The Demon Lord no longer sees value in waiting. In 7 days, the monster says, every kingdom will be harvested. The dark marks brighten. The mouth opens again. Hunt, feed, obey. Leo nearly falls. The free words strike monster radio with the exact rhythm hidden inside the static. Thousands of distant signals change direction at once. Galant. Ease. Feed. Yay. The order is not spoken only in the room. It is moving through monsters across the world. Then Riser's concentration slips. The captured body shakes. Its eyes clear for 1 second. Run, the real monster whispers. Please, we cannot stop. Riser returns. The mouth closes so hard that blood runs across its teeth. The body drops, but the distant movement continues. The hall erupts. Rulers shout orders. Priests demand protection. Mason turns toward Leo as though the student he discarded now belongs to him. You will defend the capital. Leo looks at the captured monster struggling to breathe. No. Mason's face changes. Leo speaks before the king can turn refusal into treason. I will defend civilians. I will protect refugees. I will help people who fight beside us. I will not place your palace ahead of the kingdom you plan to sacrifice. Several rulers call him ungrateful. Theo steps beside him. The frontier has paid for your safety for 50 years. Luna stands on Leo's other side. Sky and Sage move toward the injured monster. Gray blocks the guards from reaching them. Ryan remains near Mina. He looks at the dark command marks and says nothing. Monster radio spreads across Leo's awareness. Groups are moving from every direction. Some signals are hungry. Many are afraid. All are being pushed toward cities. 7 days is not enough time for the rich kingdoms to rebuild the strength they pretended to have. For the poorest kingdom, 7 days will have to be enough. Leo returns home with one plan. They will turn every stored meal into defense. The Beast Kingdom begins preparing before sunrise. Theo spreads maps across the training hall. Leo stands beside him with monster radio active. Every moving group creates a signal. The largest waves are still far away, but their directions are clear. Luna marks those directions on the map. Some paths lead toward rich capitals. Others pass directly through frontier villages. One massive signal remains hidden beyond the range of Leo's senses. Theo does not call the plan a defense of one city. It is a defense of food, roads, and people. Gray reinforces the wall around the main storehouse. He does not build one thick barrier. He creates several smaller lines so one breach cannot destroy every supply. Sage turns schools and meeting halls into recovery stations. Water, clean cloth, antidotes, and simple meals are placed where frightened civilians can reach them. Sky prepares firing points above the wall. Her ember feathers are strongest when she has clear lanes, so Luna marks routes that keep refugees away from those lines. Theo creates angled metal plates across the streets. When he uses vector magic, the plates will help him redirect charging monsters away from shelters. Leo's preparation begins in the kitchen. He cannot simply eat everything. Some food must support permanent growth. Some must remain as emergency battle fuel. Some must feed the defenders. Most must keep civilians alive after the attack. On the first day, Leo eats heavy meals and strengthens endurance. He trains until his monster shift lasts longer without shaking. On the second day, he uses smaller meals to practice rapid changes between Magic Sight, Air Step, and Iron Guard. On the third day, he helps cooks prepare dense combat rations that can be swallowed while moving. On the fourth day, Monster Radio detects the first refugee groups. They arrive exhausted. Many come from kingdoms that mocked the frontier. Their carts carry expensive clothing but almost no food. The rulers had stored supplies behind palace walls while ordinary families fled with whatever they could carry. Some beast people object to opening the gates. Leo understands their anger. He also remembers how the beast kingdom fed him before asking what he could do. Civilians enter, he says. Weapons are checked. Food is shared by need. Royal seals do not move anyone ahead. A noble messenger demands a private room and a protected supply cart. Gray points toward the public shelter. The messenger threatens punishment after the crisis. Luna removes the royal flag from the cart and uses the cloth to mark an evacuation route. The argument ends. Shared meals become part of the defense. Refugees who can cook join the kitchens. Farmers sort grain. Carpenters strengthen carts. Hunters repair bows. Children carry sealed water cups to recovery stations. The poorest kingdom becomes the most organized because nobody expects one palace to save them. Leo eats among the workers instead of in a private room. He also posts the food plan on a public panel. The panel contains many amounts, but only 3 categories matter. Civilian meals, defender meals, Leo's combat reserve. Making the division public prevents rumors that Pro-Eater is consuming the city's future. Refugees can see that Leo's largest portions are connected to training shifts and dangerous routes. Trust becomes another resource the kingdom protects. His ability makes every meal visible, but he makes sure the purpose is visible too. One bowl becomes stronger legs for rescue routes. Another becomes resistance for poison clouds. A dense meat paste becomes stored energy for monster shift. On the 5th day, the distance signals accelerate. On the 6th, monsters begin testing the outer routes. One small attack reaches a farming road before the scouts can close it. Leo leads a short defense without leaving the preparation zone. He eats one portable ration, uses monster radio to locate the attacking group, and spends only enough experience points to drive them away. The victory does not produce a core. It protects workers who are carrying vegetables toward the shelter kitchens. That food appears in dinner the same night. Every defender understands the loop. Protect food. Eat food. Turn the energy into the power that protects the next meal. Ryan and several classmates arrive with orders from their kingdoms. Mason wants Leo to coordinate the defense while still placing the capital first. Leo tears the order in half. Ryan watches the refugees working beside beast people. This place cannot hold everyone, he says. No place can, Leo answers. That is why we are building routes, not pretending one wall solves the war. Mina helps Sage organize the injured. Her power link is useful for carrying patients, but she still connects only to Ryan when danger appears. The 7th day begins with alarm bells. A messenger reaches the gate on a collapsing horse. A grain convoy is trapped beyond the eastern route. Refugees are packed between the wagons. Monsters have cut off both roads. The grain is enough to feed the shelters through a long siege. The defenders need it. Leo tightens the straps holding his combat food. The walls are ready. Now he must leave them. Leo and Luna reach the convoy first. 6 wagons are trapped in a narrow valley. Grain sacks cover the cargo beds. Families hide beneath them while monsters close from both ends. Kai holds the front route with a spear. He uses the narrow ground well, but his arms are bleeding from repeated impacts. Nora moves between the wagons, treating wounds with limited magic energy. Emma carries children from one wagon to another whenever the fighting shifts. Cloud stands on the center cart and keeps a steady rhythm with his voice. The song does not defeat monsters. It keeps frightened drivers moving together. Ryan and Mina protect the rear. Titan fists break any monster that enters Ryan's reach. Power Link makes each strike heavier. The problem is that Ryan keeps leaving the road to chase threats. One attacker is different from the rest. A bright core shines beneath its chest. Magic Sight shows a trait built for speed and cutting wind. Consuming it could strengthen air step or create a new attack. The core-bearing monster turns and flees toward the ridge. Leo has a clear path to it. Then Monster Radio warns him of a second group moving toward the wagons. He lets the valuable core go. Luna, move the front carts through the left path. That path closes in less than a minute. Then we use less than a minute. Luna activates 9 paths and runs along the wagon line. She changes the driver's order, sends the lightest cart first, and marks a turn hidden behind loose stone. Leo tears open one emergency food packet. He eats while running. Faster digestion begins feeding experience points into his reserve. He gives 2 other packets to Kai and Emma. They will not gain points, he says. They still need energy. Kai takes 1 bite and returns to the front line. Emma passes the other packet to an exhausted driver before moving again. The second monster group attacks. Ryan sees the largest creature and charges. "Stay with the rear wagon," Leo tells him. Ryan ignores the order. He breaks the creature's jaw, but the movement opens a gap behind him. Smaller monsters rush toward the refugees. Mina tries to pull Powerlink away from Ryan, but the connection resists the sudden change. Leo uses air step to cross the gap. Iron Guard catches the first claws. Kai's spear reaches past Leo and drives the next attacker back. "Ryan," Leo shouts. "Rear wheel, break the ground behind it when I signal." Ryan turns, furious. "You do not command me." A wagon wheel slips toward a broken edge. Leo cannot hold the monsters and the wagon at once. "Ryan, now." For the first time, Ryan obeys. He strikes the road behind the rear wheel. The ground rises into a rough barrier. The wagon stops sliding. Leo redirects the nearest monster into Ryan's range. Titan fists, finish it. The movement works because Ryan follows the timing instead of chasing the largest target. Mina reaches for him with Powerlink. At the same moment, Nora begins collapsing from exhausted magic energy. Mina looks between them. She opens the link wider. Light reaches Ryan first, then branches toward Nora for one brief second. Nora steadies. Mina gasps. The connection breaks, but everyone saw it. Powerlink was not limited to one person because of the skill. It was limited by how Mina used it. A familiar signal appears beyond the ridge. The injured monster Leo spared stands between two rocks. Its leg is scarred but strong enough to hold it. It does not come closer. Monster radio carries a sharp warning. Below, Leo opens magic sight. A hidden group is tunneling toward the grain wagons. "Sky is not here," Luna says. "We cannot burn them out." Leo points toward a narrow section of valley wall. "Ryan, hit where I mark." Ryan hesitates only once. Leo uses magic sight to identify the weak line. Ryan drives Titan fists into it. The wall collapses across the hidden tunnel before the attackers reach the road. The convoy begins moving. Cloud's song sets the wheel rhythm. Emma carries messages between drivers. Kai guards the lead. Nora keeps the injured conscious. Mina shifts small bursts of support where they are needed. Ryan remains at the rear instead of running ahead. Leo and Luna move along both sides. The core-bearing monster escapes into the distance. Leo feels the lost reward. Then the wagons pass through the Beast Kingdom gate. Grain fills the storehouses. Refugees enter alive. The food Leo protected will support thousands of meals. The spared monster watches from far outside the wall before disappearing again. Leo does not gain a new core. He gains something larger. The city can survive a siege. Monster radio suddenly becomes a wall of static. Every distant signal changes direction toward the food stores. Something enormous is coming. The first sign of the Kingdom Eater is not its body. It is the ground moving beneath the grain stores. The outer wall rises, bends, and splits as a creature larger than the central hall pushes to the earth. Its head resembles a fortress gate lined with teeth. Armored limbs drag a swollen body behind it. Smaller controlled monsters move around its feet like a living shield. The Kingdom Eater ignores the nearest houses. It turns directly toward the food. Workers inside the outer storehouse do not wait for heroes to save every sack. They form lines and move grain toward the inner shelters. Refugees join them. People who arrive with nothing now protect food meant for strangers. The Kingdom Eater opens vents along its body. A pulling force drags loose grain, broken wood, and abandoned tools toward its mouth. Leo sees why entire kingdoms starve after one attack. The creature consumes supplies faster than an army could carry them away. Theo understands the tactic. It does not need to kill everyone today. It only needs to destroy what keeps them alive tomorrow. The alarm pattern changes. Luna sends civilians toward the inner shelters. She uses false route flags to pull smaller monsters away from the real evacuation path. Gray meets the Kingdom Eater at the first defense line. Mountain hide spreads across his body. He plants both feet against the street and catches one descending limb. The impact cracks every window nearby, but the creature's step stops short of the storehouse wall. Sage moves behind him. Poison dust rolls from the Kingdom Eater's joints. Sage pulls the burden into his shell before it reaches the shelter doors. Sky rises above the rooftops. Her ember feathers strike the soft tissue between armor plates. The creature turns its head toward her and opens its mouth. A wave of pressure tears through the air. Theo redirects the attack upward. The blast removes part of the cloud cover instead of the food stores. The effort drops him to one knee. Ryan charges the exposed side. Mina connects power link. Titan fists strike one armor plate. A crack appears, but the force travels across the Kingdom Eater's body and disappears. Leo opens magic sight. The visible head is not controlling the creature, neither is the large heart behind its chest. Magic energy moves through several false cores, each built to attract attacks. Leo eats the first prepared battle meal. It is soft enough to swallow quickly and dense enough to release energy for several minutes. Experience points begin flowing while he moves. He activates monster radio. The sound is almost unbearable. Thousands of signals overlap. The controlled army surrounds the city. Fear, hunger, and forced attack intention strike at once. Beneath them, the Kingdom Eater carries a deeper pulse that repeats through its entire body. Punt, Feed, obey. Leo uses air step to reach the cracked armor plate. Ryan strikes again when Leo points. This time, Leo uses iron guard against the returning impact. The plate opens enough for magic sight to see inside. There is no true core behind it, only another command channel. The Kingdom Eater swings its tail through the outer defense. Gray releases the limb he is holding and turns toward the impact. He catches part of the strike, but the rest destroys 2 empty warehouses and opens a path toward the main grain building. Sage absorbs the fatigue from several defenders at once. His shell darkens. Nora reaches him and begins treating the physical damage while Sage continues carrying burdens that medicine cannot touch. Luna calls a new evacuation route. Emma runs the message before the dust clears. Kai forms a line at the storehouse entrance. Cloud's voice keeps the defenders moving in time despite the roar. Mina widens power link. For several seconds, light touches Ryan, Gray, and one group of workers pushing a grain cart away from the breach. The connection shakes, but it holds long enough to save the load. Leo eats the second battle portion. He spends the new points on perception and endurance. Monster shift spreads farther across his body. The crystal eye brightens. Plates cover one shoulder. Airstep forms beneath both feet. He reaches the Kingdom Eater's back. The armor beneath him moves like overlapping streets. Every plate tries to slide him toward a vent. Leo uses plated arm as an anchor. He drives his fingers between 2 sections and holds while Airstep creates brief footholds above the shifting shell. Below, Luna keeps calling evacuation changes. Her voice is almost lost beneath the creature's roar, so Leo follows the bright route marker she throws onto the armor. One marker leads toward a false core. She catches the mistake through 9 paths and changes it before Leo commits. The battle remains a conversation even when they cannot stand beside each other. Magic Sight searches every line of power. The false cores are connected to something deeper, but the path keeps changing. The creature moves its command energy whenever Leo gets close. Sky burns another exposed organ. The Kingdom Eater screams and drives its front body into the storehouse wall. The first layer breaks. Grain spills across the ground. Smaller monsters rush toward it, not to eat, but to destroy. Leo jumps down between them and the food. His stored meals are already being spent. The true core is still hidden. Then Riser's control slips. The battlefield stops. Not slowly. 1 second, the controlled army is charging. The next, monsters freeze in place as though invisible chains have loosened. Monster radio changes with them. Static clears around individual voices. A horned monster near the spilled grain looks at the defenders surrounding it. Do not kill us. A broken voice reaches Leo. He will make us move again. Another monster turns toward the storehouse. The path is under the throat. A third Signy is only crying. The pause lasts a few heartbeats. It is enough. Leo finally understands what the static has carried since the first dungeon. Those were not instincts created by his cores. They were minds trapped beneath an order. The war command slams back into place. Hunt. Feed. Obey. The monsters scream inside monster radio and attack again. Leo does not have time to free them one by one. He uses the warning they gave him. The true route enters beneath the throat, he tells Luna. 9 paths activates. Luna studies the Kingdom Eater's movement and the collapsing streets. Most routes end beneath its teeth. One path uses the broken storehouse wall, a falling support beam, and the creature's own front limb. I can get you there, she says. I cannot keep it open. Gray is already moving. He leaves the first line and runs toward the creature's throat. Mountainhide has cracked across his shoulders, but he catches the lower jaw when it descends. The Kingdom Eater pushes him into the earth. Sage places both hands against Gray's back. He takes the fatigue, pain, and poison that would force Gray to release. Sage's legs buckle. Nora keeps him upright. Theo redirects the Kingdom Eater's weight sideways. He cannot lift the body, but one changed angle keeps the jaw from closing completely. Sky fires every remaining ember feather into the tissue Luna marks beneath the throat. The command route becomes visible. Ryan reaches the cracked armor beside it. Leo points to 3 places, not together. Left, center, right. Ryan wants to strike everything at once. Leo can see it in his stance. Then Ryan remembers the convoy. He follows the timing. The first Titan Fist creates a vibration through the left plate. The second catches the return wave at the center. The third turns both impacts toward the right. The armor does not merely crack. It trembles apart. The vibrations travel through the armor in a new pattern. A panel briefly marks the developing technique as tremor fists. Mina opens power link toward the willing team. Light touches Gray, Sage, Theo, Sky, Ryan, Luna, and Leo for one short sequence. The strain makes blood run from Mina's nose, but she refuses to narrow the connection. Leo eats the final battle ration. The experience points arrive as Luna runs. She reaches the broken wall, jumps onto the falling beam, and marks the route with one hand. Leo follows. Airstep carries him from the beam to the Kingdom Eater's front limb. The creature tries to shake them free. Theo redirects the movement just enough. Gray keeps the jaw open. Sky burns the command routes. Ryan holds the armor apart. Sage carries the team's fatigue for one last breath. Leo enters the throat. Inside, magic sight reveals a tunnel of false cores. Monster radio shows which one carries Riser's order. The root bends around the heart and descends into a chamber behind the stomach. The Kingdom Eater was built to hide its true core beneath everything it consumed. Leo uses Iron Guard against crushing muscles. He spends stored calories on monster shift. Plates spread across his back. Magic sight remains open despite the pressure. The command voice grows louder. Hunt, feed, obey. Leo reaches the chamber. The true core is wrapped in dark roots. Each root carries the voices of controlled monsters. He does not consume the entire structure. The portal energy inside it feels different, and Theo's warning about unknown cores remains in his mind. Leo destroys the roots first. Outside, the Kingdom Eater loses control of its body. Gray throws the jaw aside. Luna jumps clear. Sky burns through the last exposed tissue. Ryan strikes the weakened shell. Leo drives one reinforced blow into the true core chamber. The Kingdom Eater falls. Its body hits the ground hard enough to shake the city, but it stops before crushing the grain store. Theo spends the last of his strength redirecting the collapse. The controlled army drops with it. Some monsters remain unconscious. Others wake and crawl away from human weapons. Sage orders the defenders not to attack those who are no longer fighting. An unstable portal opens above the exposed core. Dark light twists toward another world. A system message appears before Leo. It offers the largest monster core seed he has ever seen. At the same time, the portal begins to close. Monster core digestion reaches for the Kingdom Eater core. The amount of power inside it is enormous. Leo can feel possible abilities forming at the edge of the panel. Stronger armor. Greater size. A stomach capable of storing almost anything. Enough experience points to push every current skill forward. Theo sees the portal collapsing. The core is holding it open. Leo looks from the system message to the dark opening above them. If I consume it, we lose the path. Riser is on the other side. The controller of the monster armies is finally within reach, but Leo cannot take the largest reward and keep the portal stable. A few months earlier, the choice would have been simple. He wanted power because power kept people from discarding him. Now Gray is holding the ruined food wall together. Sage is treating both defenders and freed monsters. Refugees are carrying grain away from the wreckage. Luna is checking paths for survivors. Sky is watching the portal. Theo is waiting for the end of a 50-year cycle. Leo closes the reward panel. He stops monster core digestion. Then he places both hands on the core and spends stored experience points to stabilize its portal energy. Dark roots spread from the core into the broken air. Leo must continue feeding experience points into the structure to keep it from closing. The reward he refused is not merely lost. Part of his existing reserve becomes the cost of reaching Riser. The choice leaves him weaker for the next battle than immediate consumption would have made him. Theo sees that clearly. You may enter his world without enough power to return. Then we make the power on the other side pay for the trip. The dark opening becomes steady. Leo feels the lost growth like an empty space inside his power. He accepts it. Gray, protect the kingdom. Gray grips Leo's plated forearm once. Bring back choice, he says. It is the longest order he has given Leo. Sage places a hand against Leo's back, not to remove fatigue, but to check how much burden remains. I cannot carry this one for you, Sage says. You carried enough. Around them, former enemy monsters wake beside human defenders. The people staying behind have the harder immediate task. They must survive together before trust exists. The bear warrior nods. His place is beside the walls and people he trained Leo to serve. Sage, stay with the injured. Sage is already moving between humans, beast people, and monsters without asking which group deserves treatment first. Theo will enter because he understands the old cycle and can redirect attacks. The choice is not about taking the 6 strongest people, it is about taking the smallest team that can solve the known problems. Gray and Sage are more valuable where thousands of lives still need defense and healing. Leo refuses to weaken the kingdom merely to make the raid look larger. Luna will enter because no one finds routes better. Sky will enter because ranged fire can break command structures. Mina steps forward before Leo calls her. I am not going as Ryan's support, she says. I am going if the team accepts the link. Leo looks at Luna, Theo, and Sky. They agree. Ryan stands near the portal. His hands are shaking. He hides them inside tightened fists. Nobody asks him to pretend. You can stay, Leo says. Ryan looks at the people carrying wounded monsters away from the battlefield. Then he looks at Mina standing with the team instead of behind him. He enters the preparation circle last. I am not letting you take all the credit. The words are weak, but the choice is real. Before crossing, the 6 share one short meal from the protected grain and remaining combat supplies. Leo stores every available experience point. Mina confirms who is willing to receive her support. Theo checks the portal anchor. Luna ties route markers to her belt. Sky folds her wings close. Leo looks back once. The poorest kingdom is feeding a raid that will decide the world. Then the six step through the portal. The portal does not lead to solid ground. Leo falls through black air with 5 other bodies around him, crossing tears at his stored energy. The farewell meal begins converting faster than normal, and Pro Eater uses the experience points to keep his monster core seed stable. For a few seconds, Leo cannot tell which direction leads forward. Monster radio stretches into one long scream. Images from the human world flash beside signals from demon territory. He feels Gray bracing the walls. Sage is treating a monster with the same hands he used on humans. The core anchor is shaking behind them. Leo cannot allow the portal to scatter the team. He tears open one prepared drink pouch and swallows while falling. The calories become experience points before the darkness can pull them apart. Theo reaches toward the team. Vector magic changes the direction of their fall. Instead of striking the ground, they slide across a slope of dark sand. Luna lands first. She marks 3 possible routes before the others stand. Sky opens her wings and studies the red sky. Black towers rise far away. Moving lights travel between them like patrol signals. Mina checks the group. Before I use Power Link, I need an answer. Who accepts it? Theo agrees. Luna and Sky agree. Leo nods. Ryan brushes sand from Titan fists. You never asked me before. Mina holds his gaze. I am asking now. Ryan gives one short nod. The change seems small. It is not. Monster radio fills Leo's mind. The signals are clearer in demon territory. He can separate nearby voices from the distant command pressure, but there are too many at once. Fear moves through one group. Boredom moves through another. Somewhere far away, thousands of minds repeat the same 3 words. Hunt. Feed. Obey. Ryan hears none of it. He looks toward the towers and tightens his fists. We should attack before they find us. Luna points to smoke rising from a valley below. That is not a military camp. Small homes stand beside planted fields. Lines of clothing hang between buildings. A child-sized monster carries a basket toward a door. There are no siege engines near the fields. No cages hold human prisoners. A baker removes flat bread from a stone oven. 2 older monsters repair a roof while another waters a row of pale vegetables. The sight does not prove that every monster is peaceful. It proves that demon territory contains lives. Riser's war never showed the human world. The final raid team expected a battlefield. They are looking at ordinary settlement life. A monster family notices the armed humans on the ridge. Monster radio gives Leo the first clear meaning before any weapon moves. Humans. Hide the children. Ryan raises Titan fists. Leo catches his arm. Wait. The family below is not preparing an ambush. One adult pulls the children behind a door. Another stands in front of them with a farm tool held like a weapon. Monster radio changes. For the first time, the static separates into complete words. They found us. Do not let them take the little ones. Leo hears the voices as clearly as spoken language. He lowers his plated arm and walks down the ridge alone. Theo tells the others to hold position. Luna follows at a distance because she refuses to let Leo enter an unknown settlement without a route back. The monster holding the farm tool shouts something aloud. Leo does not understand the sound. Monster radio carries the meaning beneath it. Leave this place. We are here for Riser, Leo answers. The monster freezes. Leo's spoken words still mean nothing to it, but monster radio carries his intent back through the connection. The communication is imperfect. It feels like pushing meaning through water. It is still enough. A shopkeeper opens a side door and waves quickly. Dark patrol shapes are moving over the distant road. The shopkeeper hides the 6 humans beneath the storage floor as Riser's soldiers enter the village. From below, Leo hears the patrol through monster radio. The soldiers do not sound loyal. One is afraid that its command mark will activate. Another worries about a family living 3 valleys away. The leader repeats Riser's order because refusing causes pain. The patrol leaves without finding the humans. When the floor opens, the villagers surround Leo with fear and questions. He shows the command scars he saw in the Forbidden Dungeon. He explains the brief moments during the Kingdom Eater battle. The shopkeeper finally understands why a human can hear them. Riser controls war monsters through the war command. He enters a deep meditation and pushes the same order through every marked mind. Hunt. Feed. Obey. The command does not erase the victim. It forces the body to move while the mind remains trapped underneath. When Riser loses focus, the control weakens. That is why monsters begged for help in the human world. It is why the injured creature Leo spared felt afraid instead of violent. It is why the magical beast called the sounds voices that were not speaking freely. Every earlier clue becomes one answer. Leo's first monster transformation did not create monster radio. It gave him a receiver. His human mind remained outside Riser's network, so he could hear the victims without automatically obeying the command. Ryan looks at the villagers. You are saying most of the army never chose the war? The shopkeeper shows him a wall covered with small marks. Each mark represents someone taken by Riser's patrols. Mina touches one of them. The war is no longer humans against monsters. It is everyone with a free mind against one ruler who treats minds as tools. The villagers bring food. They have dark bread, preserved fruit, and a spicy stew made from ingredients that grow beneath command pressure. Leo is cautious, but Sage is not present to test it. Magic sight shows no poison. He eats. The calories become experience points as normal. A second property forms around the food inside his body. The ingredients resist the magic that carries the war command. Another item remains fresh even after Leo places it near a hostile magic field. Pro Eater responds. A small panel appears with one useful change. Cold storage unlocked. Leo can preserve prepared food in a sealed space connected to his skill. The space is limited, but time and hostile magic affect the food far less inside it. The shopkeeper explains that Riser's fortress drains food and magic energy from intruders. Without preserved supplies, most resistance groups cannot reach the inner halls. A hidden monster resistance has tried before. None reached the barrier. Leo opens cold storage and places the remaining demon territory food inside. The villagers expect the humans to ask for a path to kill Riser. Leo gives them a different promise. We will remove the command. The shopkeeper studies him through monster radio. And Riser? If he stands between us and every trapped mind, we defeat him. The resistance agrees to guide them near the fortress. Before leaving, Leo eats with the villagers and his team at one long table. Monster children stop hiding. Ryan keeps his fists inactive. Mina asks before forming a small support link. Luna sits beside Leo and quietly adds the best route food to his pack. For the first time, Leo understands what the final battle must accomplish. Winning is not enough. The army has to wake up free. The resistance gives Leo one night to prepare. He uses every lesson from the Beast Kingdom. Demon territory bread provides dense calories. Command-resistant herbs protect the mind. Mineral broth supports plated arm. Bright fruit strengthens magic sight. Light grain helps air step. Leo combines those ingredients with food stored before the portal. Pro Eater reacts to the act of preparing power for other people. A new panel appears. Shared feast unlocked. The rule is simple. Leo can prepare a meal carrying one weaker version of a trained monster trait. One person can hold one borrowed trait at a time. The effect lasts until the food energy is spent. The borrowed power does not make the team equal to Leo. It gives each person the exact tool needed for a role. Theo eats a thin soup prepared with sensory herbs. His hearing changes. He can detect movement through walls and follow the direction of hidden impacts. Leo explains the result before giving it a name. It is a weaker part of monster radio without the full voices. Luna receives a light meal that carries air step. Her first step forms too high. She adjusts, then crosses a broken roof without touching the ground. Sky eats roasted grain mixed with magic-resistant feather material. Her wings gain a pale protective layer. She can fly through fields that would normally scatter ember feathers. Ryan receives mineral meat prepared from plated arm ingredients. Dark reinforcement covers his fists and forearms. He strikes a practice stone. The plate holds the returning force inside his stance. The stone cracks from several directions instead of one. The early pattern of tremor fists becomes stronger. Mina receives bright fruit and command-resistant herbs. Magic sight opens as a pale pattern in her eyes. For the first time, she can see how power link touches another person's body. She sees resistance when someone does not want the connection. She sees the strain caused by forcing all support through one target. Mina asks each teammate again. When they agree, she forms several thin links instead of one heavy chain. The skill begins changing toward Alliance Pulse. Leo tests every meal in a practical challenge. Theo identifies a moving target behind stone. Luna marks a route in the air. Sky flies through a command field and burns its center. Ryan breaks only the stone Leo marks. Mina keeps all four linked long enough to complete the sequence. The meals work. They also burn energy quickly. Leo cannot prepare an endless supply. Cold storage has a limit. The fortress will force choices about when each trait matters most. He fills the remaining space with recovery food and 2 emergency meals for the complete monster transformation he may need at the barrier. Luna checks the route one last time. Theo divides the fortress into stages. Sky studies the patrol pattern. Mina confirms consent for every link. Ryan sits apart watching the Black Tower. Leo offers him another prepared portion. Ryan takes it without an insult. At dawn, the resistance opens a hidden path beneath the fortress gate. The moment the 6 enter, the air begins pulling energy from every exposed piece of food. The first chamber is called Hunger Hall. The name is carved into the wall. Several warnings sit beneath it, but the effect becomes obvious before anyone can study them. Bread inside Ryan's open pouch turns gray. A piece of fruit in Mina's hand shrinks. Magic energy leaks from Sky's feathers and disappears into the floor. Leo closes every exposed container. Cold storage remains sealed. The fortress cannot drain what it cannot reach. The hall is longer than it appears. Each door leads back to the same row of empty tables. Stone figures sit around them with bowls held toward the team. Theo's borrowed hearing detects gears beneath the floor. Luna uses 9 paths, but the possible routes keep changing whenever someone releases magic energy. Leo understands the trap. The hall feeds on waste. He does not release a full meal for everyone. He takes out one portion at a time. Luna receives enough energy to use air step across the first pressure line. She marks the safe stone. Theo receives a small drink and redirects one moving wall. Sky waits until a sealed door appears, then eats only enough to protect her feathers during one attack. Ryan complains that rationing slows them down. Then the gray bread in his pouch turns to dust. He stops complaining. Leo eats last. He uses the calories to maintain magic sight, not to raise permanent stats. The hidden route appears as a thin line where the hall's draining magic does not reach. The team follows it. At the final table, 6 bulls rise and try to pull every stored calorie from their bodies. Mina forms a light alliance pulse. The link spreads the pressure instead of letting one person collapse. Theo redirects the pull toward an empty stone figure. Ryan breaks the figure at the exact moment Sky burns the line beneath it. The door opens. Cold storage has preserved most of the food. The next chamber is worse. Fear Hall contains no visible enemy. Darkness divides the team. Each person sees a different path. Leo sees the summoning court. Mina crosses the hall again. The Beast Kingdom's shelves stand empty because Leo ate everything and still failed. Gray, Sage, Sky, Theo, and Luna look at him as though they finally understand he was only useful while growing stronger. The vision offers one solution: eat every remaining meal. Become powerful enough that nobody can leave. Leo opens magic sight. The illusion has a weak line connected to his old wound. He does not deny the fear. He remembers the first hunt. The team trusted him because he carried food home, not because he forced them to stay. Leo breaks the line without opening cold storage. He finds Luna next. Her vision shows every route ending with someone she guided dying. Leo does not tell her that the fear is foolish. He waits until she finds one path that still exists, then follows it with her. Sky fears losing the sky. Theo sees Earth moving on without him. Mina sees herself standing behind stronger people forever because she never learned what she wanted. Ryan's chamber is sealed deepest. Inside, Titan fists are gone. Ryan is back on Earth, trapped beneath someone stronger. Then the image changes. He is in demon territory, dying while everyone watches Leo lead. Ryan attacks the walls. Every strike strengthens the illusion. Leo reaches him through monster radio and Mina's link. Stop feeding it. Ryan turns on him. You think I do not know what this is? I think you are afraid. The words land harder than a punch. Ryan raises one fist, then lets it fall. I am afraid, he says. I never asked to be dragged into this world. I do not want to die here, and I hate that you look less afraid than me. Leo answers honestly. I am afraid too. The hall weakens. Courage is not a rank. It is not the absence of fear. It is a choice made while fear remains. Ryan looks at the path behind Leo. Then tell me where to hit. Only when I signal. Ryan almost argues. Then he nods. Mina breaks her own illusion by choosing to connect the team because they agree, not because one person appears strongest. The 6 leave Fear Hall together. Ryan is still afraid. For the first time, he is no longer hiding it inside anger. Ahead, metal hammers strike in perfect rhythm. Monster radio fills with voices begging for the chains to stop. The chain foundry is where Riser manufactures obedience. Rows of dark metal frames fill the chamber. Command marks grow inside them like living brands. Each mark is connected to a voice in monster radio. Some voices come from monsters already fighting in the human world. Others belong to prisoners waiting in cells beneath the floor. Sky's face hardens. We destroy all of it. Not at once, Theo warns. The release could hit every connected mind. Leo opens magic sight. The foundry has a central command route, but each frame carries a smaller binding. If they break the central structure first, the backlash may tear through the prisoners. They move frame by frame. Luna uses air step to reach control lines above the floor. She marks which ones are safe to cut. Theo listens through walls and redirects the moving hammers away from the team. Sky burns the dark metal around each binding without touching the living signal inside it. Mina uses magic sight and alliance pulse to keep their timing connected. Ryan stands beside Leo. Which one? Leo points. Ryan strikes only the marked joint. The first frame breaks. A prisoner below gasps as the command mark fades. Leo places plated arm against the loose binding. Monster core digestion reacts. He pulls the dark energy into himself and converts it through Proeater. The taste is not physical. It is pressure, anger, and a repeated order without a voice. A short panel appears. Binding consumed. The freed energy becomes experience points. More importantly, the prisoner remains alive. Leo repeats the process. Each smaller binding teaches his skill how command magic is built. He is not ready to consume the complete war command, but the path is forming. Freed monsters leave the cells. Some join the resistance. Others are too weak to fight. The team gives them preserved food and directions back to the village. The foundry alarms activate. Walls close around the chamber. The next passage becomes a living maze. Flesh and stone move together. Every corridor shifts when the team chooses it. Monster radio carries false signals from the walls, trying to bury the real voices. Luna closes her eyes. 9 paths shows dozens of futures. Most lead back to the foundry. One path changes too quickly to remain visible. That is the real route, she says. It is hiding by moving. She uses air step to mark the corridor from above, while the floor turns beneath her. Theo redirects one closing wall. His borrowed hearing tracks the mechanisms behind another. Sky's resistant feathers let her fly through a field that would normally extinguish her fire. She burns command roots embedded in the ceiling. Mina links the team. Through magic sight, she warns them when a wall is alive and when it is only stone. Ryan waits for Leo's mark. The maze sends a false opening toward him. Earlier he would have broken it because it looked like the largest obstacle. He holds. Leo points to a narrow seam behind them. Ryan strikes. Tremors travel through the living wall and expose the true corridor. The team enters before it closes. At the end stands a smooth barrier of dark light. Theo throws a piece of metal through it. The object passes. He reaches toward it with one finger. The barrier throws him across the room. Mina studies the magic with borrowed magic sight. It is not blocking matter, she says. It is rejecting human life. Beyond the barrier, monster radio carries one voice stronger than all the others. Riser is waiting. Theo attacks the barrier with vector magic. The force bends, returns, and throws him harder than before. Brute force strengthens it, he says from the floor. Sky sends one ember feather through. The feather passes because it is no longer part of her body. When she tries to follow, dark light drives her back. Mina studies the barrier with borrowed magic sight. Layers of magic move across its surface. None of them react to metal, fire, or stone. They react only when a living human approaches. It reads what we are, she says. Luna activates 9 paths. Every route she sees ends at the same wall. Then, one possibility appears near the lowest edge. It does not reject monsters. Leo hears the answer inside monster radio. The barrier is part of the War Command network. It recognizes marked monsters as servants. It keeps humans away from the mind controlling them. Leo looks at his monster core seeds. The crystal eye came from the Ravager. Plated arm came from the Stalker. Airstep grew through magical beast training. Monster radio now carries the voices of an entire species. Individually, those traits do not hide his human life. Together, they might. Leo removes the last complete meal prepared for this moment. It contains dense calories from the beast kingdom, command-resistant herbs from demon territory, mineral broth, and bright fruit. Every person who helped prepare the journey is present inside the food. He eats slowly enough to keep control. Experience points fill his reserve. Leo directs them into every active monster core seed. The experience points do not create new abilities. They connect everything Leo already earned. Magic Sight provides the map. Monster Radio provides awareness. Plated Arm provides structure. Airstep provides movement. The command-resistant food protects the human mind inside the transformation. Without the calories, the traits would remain separate pieces. Pro Eater turns them into one stable body. Magic Sight spreads across both eyes. Dark plates cover his arms, chest, and back. His legs reshape for sudden movement. A second structure forms around his lungs so he can survive the hostile magic beyond the barrier. Airstep gathers beneath clawed feet. His body does not tear apart. It reorganizes around trained traits. The panel shows one new state. Full monster form stabilized. Ryan stares at him. You look worse than the things outside. Leo's voice comes out deeper. You still know who I am. Ryan looks away first. Mina tries to extend Alliance Pulse through the barrier. The light stops at the surface. Theo gives Leo the remaining route plan. Luna marks the safest point with one final airstep. Sky prepares to attack anything he exposes. Ryan positions himself beside the weakest section of wall. The team cannot cross yet. That does not make them useless. Leo approaches the barrier. Dark light moves across his body. It touches the monster eye, the plates, the changed legs, and the command-resistant organs. The barrier identifies him as a monster. It opens. Leo steps through alone. The air inside is heavier. Command roots cover the floor and walls. Each one carries a trapped voice toward a figure seated at the center of the chamber. Riser is not the giant creature from Battlefield stories. He appears almost human from a distance. Dark armor grows from his body. Thin roots connect his back to the fortress and to every controlled army beyond it. He does not turn. Kneel, Riser commands. Full monster form reacts. Leo's legs begin bending before his human mind agrees. He spends stored experience points and stays upright. Riser finally looks over one shoulder. He sees monster traits crossing his barrier. He does not yet see the discarded F-rank hero inside them. Leo opens Magic Sight. Weak points appear across the Demon Lord's entire body. Riser repeats the command. Kneel. The word enters Leo through every monster trait at once. His plated arms grow heavy. Airstep disappears beneath his feet. The crystal patterns in his eyes turn toward the floor. Monster Radio fills with the same pressure. Hunt. feed, obey. Leo hears something else beneath it. Gray telling him that strength must become safe. Luna telling him to wait until the exact second speed matters. Sky teaching him to shape power instead of wasting it. Sage telling him to recover with his own strength. Leo showing him 50 years of preparation. Those voices are not inside Riser's network. They are memories Leo chose to keep. He eats the final piece of combat bread still in his hand. The calories become experience points. Leo spends them on resistance. His knee stops one finger above the floor. Then he stands. Riser turns completely. The dark armor around him opens like layered ribs. Magic sight reveals the system inside. One organ maintains the barrier. Several growths carry commands into the fortress. Thin tendrils connect to armies in the human world. A large chamber beneath Riser's chest stores the energy taken from every harvested kingdom. The true ruling core sits deeper, protected by all of them. Leo does not attack the core first. He attacks what keeps the team outside. Air step forms beneath him. Leo crosses the chamber before Riser finishes raising one arm. A blade grows from the Demon Lord's armor. Iron Guard catches it. Leo bites through a small barrier growth near Riser's shoulder. Monster Core digestion activates. The growth dissolves into bitter power. Experience points enter Leo's body. One section of the outer barrier flickers. Riser's expression changes. You consume command matter. Leo swallows. I consume anything that can become power. Riser sends command tendrils through the floor. The first tendril carries a voice Leo recognizes. It belongs to the frightened monster he spared near the village. The creature is far away, yet Riser uses its fear as part of the attack. Another tendril carries the anger of a war beast. A third carries a parent's panic. Riser does not merely control bodies. He turns emotion into pressure against anyone who resists. Leo cannot block every voice without shutting out monster radio. If he closes the ability, he loses the map of the command pathways. He keeps listening. The pain becomes information. Leo jumps. Airstep carries him above the first wave. The second catches one plated leg and tries to pull him into the network. Monster radio explodes with trapped voices. Leo uses magic sight to identify the exact tendril carrying the pull. He tears it free and consumes the marked end. Another group of voices vanishes from Riser's control path. They are not fully free, but the pressure on them weakens. The experience points pay the cost of maintaining full monster form. Riser understands the danger. Every piece Leo eats does four things. It weakens a defense. It removes a command route. It gives Leo more experience points. It lets him remain inside longer. Riser changes the chamber. The floor folds upward. Walls become jaws. Command routes form copies of the monsters Leo consumed. A crystallized shape fires from the left. An armored shape charges from the right. Riser expects the copied traits to confuse him. Leo trained against both. Monster radio warns him before the charge. Magic sight reveals the false beam. He uses airstep between them. The copied attacks collide. Leo reaches a regeneration organ along Riser's side. He tears away one piece and eats it. The texture is like hot metal turning into smoke. Pro Eater converts it before it can poison him. A short panel confirms another gain. Leo ignores the smaller numbers. The barrier cracks again. Outside, Sky sees the opening. One ember feather passes through and burns a command root beside Riser's spine. Riser turns toward the attack. Leo uses that second to consume another barrier growth. The Demon Lord drives a fist into his chest. Plated armor breaks. Leo crosses the chamber and hits the far wall. Full monster form begins losing shape around one arm. There is no food left outside cold storage that he can reach quickly. Riser approaches. You were discarded by humans, he says. I can hear the wound even without controlling you. Leo forces his damaged arm to reform. You think that makes us the same? You consume the weak. You collect their abilities. You command others through food. Riser is trying to turn Leo's own power into an accusation. For one moment, the words find a real fear. Leo has eaten cores. He has grown through bodies. Shared feast gives allies power that depends on him. Then he remembers the frightened monster eating the meat he left behind. He remembers refusing the magic fruit until the team was safe. He remembers giving up the Kingdom Eater core. The difference, Leo says, is choice. Leo points toward the cracking barrier. Luna chose to guide me. Gray chose to train me. Sky and Sage chose to fight. Theo chose to spend 50 years preparing. Nobody at the shared feast lost the right to say no. Riser's armor tightens. A choice made by the hungry is still obedience to the one holding food. Then you never understood why they fed me first. The Beast Kingdom had almost nothing. It gave Leo food before it knew he could repay them. That act created loyalty Riser's command could never copy. Riser attacks. Leo does not meet the blow. He lets Monster Radio reveal the intention. Then he steps inside the attack and bites through the command tendril under Riser's arm. The Demon Lord loses control of one entire group. Far away, monsters stop moving for several seconds. Riser's concentration breaks. The fortress shakes with thousands of voices trying to become their own. Leo tears open another growth. The barrier finally splits enough for Theo to hear the battle through it. Leo strikes the exposed section 3 times in a pattern Luna can recognize from outside. Left ear. Luna understands the route signal. Theo understands the timing. Riser sees them preparing and changes tactics. He returns to the center of the chamber and closes his eyes. Every command route brightens. The Demon Lord enters meditation. Across both worlds, the war command reaches maximum pressure. Riser's body stops moving. The fortress moves for him. Command routes rise from every surface. The barrier begins repairing. Monster radio fills with so many trapped voices that Leo can no longer separate them. In the human world, monsters that had collapsed rise again. Near the Beast Kingdom, Gray sees frightened eyes disappear beneath the command. Sage has to pull freed monsters away from defenders before the fighting restarts. Inside the chamber, Leo feels full monster form bend toward Riser. The Demon Lord is no longer spending attention on physical attacks. Every part of his mind is pressing the war command into the armies. That creates one weakness. He cannot defend every organ at once. Outside the barrier, Sky sees the regeneration organ Leo exposed. She eats the last portion of her power meal. Magic-resistant feathers cover her wings. Sky flies into the barrier's edge. Dark light burns around her, but the borrowed trait holds long enough for one ember feather to pass through. The feather strikes Riser beneath the ribs. Meditation breaks. The effect reaches both worlds. Controlled monsters stop. Some throw down weapons. Others turn away from human civilians. Near the Beast Kingdom, one monster kneels beside Sage and begs him not to let the command return. Riser opens his eyes. Riser forces the command back through every marked body. The armies rise again. The interruption gives Leo time. He consumes the damaged command pathway beside Riser's ribs. The barrier loses another layer. Luna enters first. Airstep carries her through the marked weak point before it closes. She places route markers along the internal floor. Theo follows. His borrowed hearing finds the movement inside the barrier. Vector magic turns one command route away from Mina and Ryan as they cross. Sky enters last, using resistant feathers to survive the remaining pressure. The 6 are together again. Their borrowed traits are already fading. Hunger Hall consumed part of the supply. The Foundry forced them to spend more. Every person has enough food energy for only a few decisive uses. Leo cannot solve that shortage by preparing another feast inside the battle. He must create openings that make each remaining use matter. That is the final form of the lesson Luna taught him with 6 small food packets. Do not spend power because danger exists. Spend it when one action changes the field. Riser abandons meditation and expands. Dark armor grows outward. The almost human shape becomes the center of a massive body. Command routes form wings. Harvested energy builds into several arms. The chamber opens to contain him. Ryan looks up. Fear returns to his face. He does not hide it. Tell me where. Leo opens magic sight. The route to the ruling core passes through 3 structures. A regeneration organ restores the armor. A command chamber feeds the roots. A harvest shell stores attacks taken from sacrificed kingdoms. Theo, keep the left arm away from Sky. Vector magic changes the direction of a descending claw. Theo cannot stop the full weight, but he sends it into an empty section of floor. Luna, mark the command chamber. Luna runs across a rising route. Airstep carries her over the gap. She places a bright marker beneath Riser's chest. Sky, burn the regeneration lines. Ember feathers follow the path shown by magic sight. The borrowed resistance lets them remain intact inside the command field. Mina, link only when everyone agrees. Mina's borrowed magic sight shows each person's willingness and strain. She forms thin connections instead of forcing one heavy link. Alliance pulse spreads. The connection does not erase individual movement. It shares timing. Theo feels when Sky is about to release a feather. Luna feels when Ryan plants his stance. Leo feels Mina's strain and knows the link cannot last forever. Riser tries to enter the network. Mina sees the intrusion with magic sight and closes that branch before it reaches anyone. For the first time, her support skill protects a group's right to remain separate as much as it helps them act together. Leo feels Gray's old control lesson through Ryan's stance. He feels Luna's route timing. He feels Sky's magic release and Theo's angle. Ryan, the armor beside Luna's mark. Ryan moves. Plated reinforcement covers Titan fists. He strikes once and holds the returning force. He strikes again at a different angle. The 2 impacts meet inside the armor. Tremors spread through the shell. Riser tries to crush him with a command route. Ryan sees it and continues the sequence because Leo has not given the next signal. Theo redirects the route at the final second. Now, Ryan releases both stored impacts. The armor breaks inward. Tremor fists are no longer an unfinished pattern. The command chamber is exposed. Leo enters through the opening. He consumes one thick root. Bitter command energy floods his body. Pro-Eater converts part of it, but the words hunt, feed, obey remain attached. He is close to the complete war command. Riser tears the chamber apart to remove him. Luna marks a route along the falling pieces. Leo follows air step to air step. Sky destroys the regeneration organ before it can rebuild the armor. Mina widens alliance pulse. The team moves as one willing group. Riser roars and opens the harvest shell. Energy collected from destroyed cities gathers above him. Fire, force, poison, and broken magic combine into one final attack. The chamber begins collapsing around the charge. Magic Sight shows the ruling core at last. It is wrapped around the complete war command. Leo can reach one first. The other will fire. Monster Radio carries every controlled voice into Leo at once. Some are near the Beast Kingdom. Some are outside rich capitals. Some are trapped inside Riser's fortress. Some belong to monsters who have obeyed for so long that they no longer remember their own voices clearly. Above them, the harvest attack grows. Leo does not reach for the ruling core first. He reaches for the command. The war command is not a written sentence floating in the air. It is a living structure built from repeated pressure. 3 meanings twist through every root. Bahadon, feed. Obey. Leo places both hands on it. Monster core digestion reacts, but the structure is larger than any core. It is connected to too many minds. Consuming it could pull their fear, pain, and obedience through him. A new panel appears. It offers one ability name, Command Digestion. Leo accepts. The ability demands more than stored energy. It demands a definition. Will Leo consume the command and keep the authority for himself? Or will he break it into power that belongs to nobody? The easier path would make him the next controller. Every monster connected to Riser would become a potential servant. Leo rejects that path before the panel can offer it. He chooses digestion without ownership. The war command enters him. For one terrible second, he experiences the order from every side. He feels bodies running while their owners beg them to stop. He feels parents attacking cities where their children are imprisoned. He feels hungry creatures forced to destroy food they wanted to eat. He feels the repeated command trying to become part of Pro-Eater. Leo refuses to keep it. He does not store the control. He digests it. Hunt loses its force. Feed loses its direction. Obey loses its owner. The phrase disappears. There is no new order to replace it. Leo does not tell the monsters to protect humans. He does not tell them to follow him. He gives no command at all. Some run from the battlefield. Some protect injured members of their own groups. Some turn against the structures that marked them. A few choose to help human defenders who had spared them during the brief breaks in control. The different choices are the proof that freedom is real. Across both worlds, monsters stop. This time, they do not rise again. Monster Radio changes from one forced rhythm into millions of separate voices. The silence between them is freedom. Riser's giant body begins collapsing. The command roots lose their tension. His wings break apart. Armor falls from the ruling core. The harvest attack remains. It no longer receives power from the armies, but everything already collected is still above the chamber. Riser pushes the remaining energy toward the team. If I cannot command this world, he says, I will empty it. Theo steps forward. Vector magic catches the edge of the attack. He cannot send it away alone. His arms begin breaking in the same places shown inside the memory crystal. Leo sees 50 years trying to repeat. Alliance pulse connects the team. Mina does not pour everything into one strong person. She shares the burden across willing bodies. Sky uses the link to shape her final ember feathers. They strike the last regeneration organ and stop Riser from rebuilding. Luna reads the falling chamber through 9 paths. Most routes end inside the harvest blast. One reaches the ruling core. She marks it. Ryan, Leo says. Ryan looks at the attack. His whole body is shaking. I am still afraid. I know. Then give the signal. Leo waits until Theo bends the blast 1 degree away from the team. Ryan strikes the exposed armor around the ruling core. Plated reinforcement holds the return force. Tremor fists send repeated impacts through the shell. The armor cracks, but it does not open completely. Leo releases full monster form from one arm and redirects the saved calories into strength. He strikes with Ryan. The core armor breaks. The harvest blast falls. Pro-Eater reacts to an amount of energy far beyond normal food or monster matter. Leo's entire progression path gathers into one final option. Devour unlocked. Leo opens the ability. He does not swallow the blast with a normal mouth. Full monster form creates a field around him that treats hostile energy as something that can be consumed. The harvest attack enters Devour. Leo feels every stolen source inside it. There is heat taken from burned cities, force taken from failed heroes, poison harvested from dungeon monsters, magic energy drained from frontier defenses. Riser collected the strength of victims, then used it to create more victims. Devour does not let Leo hold all of that without consequence. The energy tears at full monster form. Plates split. Magic sight floods with white light. his stored resistance begins failing. The team keeps the path open while Pro Eater converts one layer at a time. Fire becomes calories. Force becomes experience points. Poison becomes resistance. Broken magic becomes fuel. The attack shrinks until Theo can redirect the last edge into the empty sky above the fortress. Leo uses the new experience points before they can tear his body apart. He drives Devour into Riser's ruling core. The core contains harvested power, command authority, and the structure supporting the giant form. Leo consumes those parts. He does not consume Riser's memories. He does not erase the Demon Lord's mind. Riser falls out of the collapsing armor in a weakened humanoid body. He tries to reach the broken command roots. Nothing answers. Ryan pins one arm. Luna blocks the escape route. Sky burns the last piece of living armor. Theo redirects Riser's final strike into the floor. Mina keeps Alliance Pulse active until the team is safe. Leo stands over the defeated ruler. Riser looks at him with hatred and confusion. You could take everything. Leo closes Devour. That is why I will not. They bind Riser with pieces of the command-resistant metal from the foundry. Outside the fortress, monsters hear their own thoughts without static for the first time. The war is over before many human defenders understand why the enemy stopped. The return portal opens when Riser's ruling core disappears. Leo and the team carry the weakened Demon Lord through it. They arrive beside the ruins of the Kingdom Eater. The battlefield is silent. Monster armies stand beyond the damaged walls. Human defenders still hold weapons. Beast people protect the grain stores. For one dangerous moment, both sides expect the fighting to begin again. Then a freed monster lowers its claws. Another places a weapon on the ground. Monster Radio carries no command, only choices. The monsters explain what happened through Leo and the magical beasts who understand the old control. They do not kneel to Leo as a new master. They listen because he removed the voice that stole their bodies. Several human officials immediately suggest a simpler answer. They want Leo to use Monster Radio as a new chain. They argue that one kind controller is safer than millions of free monsters. Leo refuses. Monster Radio lets him hear. It does not give him the right to own the speaker. The first agreement between the groups is therefore made without a command. Human defenders lower their weapons in one marked area. Freed monsters move their wounded into that space. Sage treats whoever arrives. The trust is small and dangerous. It is also voluntary. That difference matters. Sage moves among the wounded without separating species. Gray organizes food lines for defenders and former attackers. Nora treats injuries beside him. Kai and Emma keep frightened groups apart until trust can begin. Cloud uses a quiet song to help people hear instructions instead of rumors. Mason arrives with royal guards after the danger has passed. He expects the victory to restore his authority. Instead, Theo brings records from the memory crystal. The magical beasts bring proof of the old command routes. Refugees describe storehouses kept full while frontier cities starved. Summoned heroes describe assignments decided by wealth rather than need. The old system becomes impossible to hide. Mason and the guilty rulers had treated poor kingdoms as shields. They had lied about their strength, protected central cities, and sent weaker people to absorb the monster waves. Riser used the same idea from the other side. He treated monsters as bodies without choices. Both systems fall together. Kingdom hierarchy built around sacrifice is abolished. Restitution is not one symbolic payment. Gold rebuilds homes. Land is returned to displaced communities. Medicine goes to frontier settlements. Food reserves are opened. Profits earned from monster materials are shared with monster families forced into war. Labor crews repair roads and farms. The families of dead heroes receive support instead of silence. Mason loses the crown. His punishment is designed so the history cannot be buried again. He becomes the royal fool of remembrance. Each day he wears a wooden crown and serves food to refugees. He cleans the memorial. He recites the names of sacrificed cities. He explains the arrangement he supported to every visiting student and official. The work gives him no stage on which to pretend he was the victim. Riser is imprisoned in command-resistant restraints. He is forced to watch humans, beast people, and peaceful monsters rebuild without one ruler directing every movement. The former Demon Lord sees monsters choose their own homes, work, and allies. Some cross into human lands through new legal routes. Some remain in demon territory. Freedom does not require everyone to live the same way. When the last part of the summoning cycle closes, a white passage appears near the repaired transfer platform. Theo knows what it is before anyone speaks. The return gate has finally opened. Leo remembers the promise made beneath the training hall. At that time, he barely understood his own skill. Theo's 50 years felt too large to imagine. Now the promise has a physical shape. It is white light, one open path, and an older man finally allowed to choose where his life continues. The victory over Riser matters across two worlds because it gives one stolen student his unfinished future back. On Earth, only weeks have passed since he disappeared. In this world, Theo has lived 50 years. He stands before Gray, Sky, Sage, Luna, and Leo without knowing how to say goodbye to a life that became longer than the one he left. Gray gives him a repaired piece of the original training post. Sky gives him one harmless feather. Sage removes the pain from Theo's old arms for the journey. Luna gives him a route marker, even though the gate has only one path. Leo hands him a small package of bread. You prepared food for the next rejected hero, Leo says. Take some home for yourself. Theo laughs through tears. You finished the cycle. We finished it. Theo looks at the team and agrees. He steps through the white passage. The gate remains open for Leo. Earth is on the other side. His old life is there. So are the hallways where Ryan bullied him and the world where Mina once promised she would stay. Ryan chooses to return later with the other students. Mina plans to face the people she left without pretending her decisions did not hurt anyone. Leo looks at the open gate. Then he looks behind him. Luna does not ask him to stay. That matters. She gives him the same kind of choice the Beast Kingdom gave him from the beginning. Food without a demand. Training without ownership. A place beside them without a chain. Leo realizes that returning to Earth would not erase what happened here. Staying does not erase the pain from Earth either. The decision is not about escaping one world. It is about choosing where his next promise belongs. Gray is organizing rebuilding crews. Sage is arguing with a monster patient who refuses to rest. Sky is teaching young defenders how to shape fire safely. Luna stands beside the first field being cleared for a shared harvest. This world did not value Leo because he became overpowered. The Beast Kingdom fed him before that happened. He closes his hand around the route marker Luna gave Theo a matching copy of. I am staying. The return gate closes. Luna does not make a speech. She simply takes Leo's hand and pulls him toward the field where everyone is waiting. Pro Eater responds to his final choice. The ability that began as endless consumption has reached a new purpose. A panel appears with one mind. World Feast unlocked. Leo touches the damaged earth. Experience points flow outward instead of inward. The soil regains strength. Green shoots rise through ash. Empty irrigation paths fill with clean water. Fruit trees begin growing where the Kingdom Eater destroyed the outer stores. World Feast does not create endless food without effort. It restores land, accelerates healthy growth, and turns shared meals into recovery for whole communities. The first use drains a large part of Leo's stored experience points. Even this final evolution keeps the old rule. Power requires fuel. The difference is direction. Before, Leo ate so strength could gather inside one body. Now a meal can help exhausted soil hold water. It can help seeds survive damaged ground. It can spread recovery across a table instead of one fighter. Calories remain the source. Sharing becomes the multiplier. Farmers still plant. Cooks still prepare. Hunters still protect the roads. Leo's power makes sure their work can feed people instead of being destroyed by rulers and war. The first harvest meal is held where the broken transfer platform once stood. Humans sit beside beast people. Peaceful monsters bring dishes from demon territory. Former heroes carry bowls instead of weapons. Gray serves meat from community hunts. Sky heats the cooking stones. Sage complains that everyone needs more vegetables. Ryan listens without starting an argument. Mina asks before offering support to tired workers. Leo takes one piece of bread. It resembles the travel bread he received on his first day. Back then, one bite gave him enough strength to bend an iron rail. Now he breaks the bread in half and gives one piece to Luna. Every calorie still has the power to make him stronger. The difference is what strength means. The court believed Leo received a useless appetite. They were wrong. His hunger became power. His power became freedom, and his final feast made sure nobody had to starve alone again.